Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome back to DevChatter. Hopefully people are getting settled in. I noticed there are some people in chat already, and I'm going to go ahead and get started in a little bit, but I wanted to cover a couple of the logistical things first. So I'm going to make a couple of settings adjustments that I noticed I didn't do, and then we'll get started. So you probably all noticed that up in that corner up there is another person, sort of, kind of. It's a picture. That's not a live person. Although if that were Mark and really where he is, that would be a really epic place. So for those of you that don't know, this is Mark Miller, and
greetings.
And I will tweak his audio if he was too quiet there. So let me know if anybody has any trouble hearing Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Okay.
I like that epic picture of me in the upper right. It does almost look live. I will tell you now that there is that bright light behind me in this moment.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, cool. Mark is here because some of our people in chat, myself included, were talking about not knowing enough about how CodeRush works, and we figured we would give it a try. And I suggested, hey, why don't we see if Mark Miller can actually show us how to use CodeRush, and we'll try it. So Mark is, I guess, what is you work at DevExpress, which is the company that makes CodeRush, but what do you do there?
Well, I am essentially in charge of what's coming out, what features are coming out in CodeRush next. It's similar to a traditional program manager job, although I do a number of spikes as well. So I'll often have an idea for a particular feature that'll be maybe too crazy to spec out, and I'll just start writing the feature and until it can get to a point where everybody can visualize it and start nodding their heads when they see it. And so that's the essence of what I'm doing. So marketing, program management, and research, R&D.
So basically, guy that gets to do essentially whatever he wants in CodeRush whenever he wants.
Yeah, and the other thing that I love about this, and I've been doing this so long I take it for granted, but most developers don't write software that they then turn back around and use, right? They're often writing software for other people. And the thing I love about this is that if I, realize, ooh, I could be faster if I had this, I have a team of developers who will work to get me a professional version, a shippable version of whatever I'm envisioning. And I love it because we're able to get very cool features that otherwise would probably not ever get past the pitching stage.
Makes sense. Yep, that is a nice bit of advantage. Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess we've given enough time for a reasonable number of people to start showing up. So, Mark, where do you want me to start in this?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I think the Twitch feed that I'm watching is probably delayed significantly. While I was talking, I was still seeing you moving your mouth. So I think my feed is probably about 15 seconds behind yours. So that's going to make it a little tricky if we continue at this pace or with this lag. But I will. So it may not be as in sync with your motions, and I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that. And I don't think there is because I've been watching since the beginning on this. So
Mindfod, thank you for the sub. Yeah, Mark, I'm going to see if I can get you a screen share through Skype or something.
That might be a cool thing to do. If you can get that going as well while you're twitching, I will probably be way more in sync with you.
There you go. Do you see Visual Studio? And everybody else gets a red border, I think.
I totally do. I see it. I see Visual Studio.
Okay.
And I now just see your red border show up on Twitch. So I'm good. I'm totally in sync with you. What I want you to do, the first thing is to go into the CodeRush menu.
Okay.
And bring down the setup wizard.
Okay.
Start the setup wizard. And this is a wizard that takes you through some of the most easy to use, powerful kind of decisions you'd want to make about installing this.
Okay.
And all of these settings that you're going to be changing inside of the wizard are things that you can change later through the options dialog. So there's not really a penalty for maybe answering something and then deciding later I want to change it. However, we're showing you what those features are here as we go through. So the first page here is structural highlighting, and it essentially draws connectors between the matching pieces. And I find this feature, by the way, in this image here, the lines here are higher contrast than what they are in actuality when you use it. They're just here to emphasize what we're going to do.
Yep.
So if you want that feature, you can have that checkbox
I think
checked.
I do.
Okay, and then I find this, by the way, useful on really complex code. If I'm looking at somebody else's code, large methods, or I also find it useful in XAML as well, right? And XAML being able to see those lines, so that's useful. Go ahead and hit next.
Okay.
And
this is what you were talking about.
Yeah, I asked you before if you had a keyboard with a numeric keypad. And if you do, and if you regularly do not use that numeric keypad while coding, I suggest switching it over so you can get access to more powerful CodeRush features. And those are shown here with those bindings here. So if you do not use that numeric keypad, what I would do is I would say yes to this as well. Add numeric keypad bindings. I would check that checkbox.
Okay, I will check that.
And and I can just show you those, tell you those right now. The upper right selection decrease and selection increase, those are your num plus and num minus.
Yep.
That's for increasing and decreasing selections by logical blocks. So you've got a fast.
So I'm highlighting a variable. I jump to highlighting the whole line. I jump to highlighting, the whole if statement it's in, for example.
Right, it's like that. Okay. Yeah, but it would actually go before it went from the variable to the line. It would give you the expression it was in.
Ah, okay. Yep. So you get an expression, then a statement, then whatever block it's in, any block that's in, on and on up until eventually you've got a whole class or a namespace. Okay.
Yes. So the bottom two right buttons, the enter and the dot, are for navigation. So that big fat enter key is for jump to symbol, and you can go to any symbol there. And then we've got the dot gives you a more specific jump to menu with many more options. Like I can jump to a file, jump to all kinds of things there. Jump to like base classes. So your navigation's in that bottom right corner. And then your code refactor menu is that num0 key. So that's the other piece that's there. So those are all powerful, frequently used features. And I often find that I can do a lot of coding just with one hand and these buttons.
Okay,
right?
Makes sense, yeah.
I selection increase, I hit the refactor button, I use that same hand to use the up and down arrow keys, that sort of thing, and enter to select the refactoring I want.
And I don't use those very often in my regular coding, so they're pretty open keys. So.
Yeah, so this, you may find these helpful. All right, let's jump to the next. All right.
Spellchecker. Done.
Spellchecker. Okay. Let's go to the next. Also, you have options there.
Well, I was going to say, no, I meant like done as in yes, it's going to be on. So I actually had this on for the past two streams. I've actually had CodeRush running and I didn't know how to use it. So it was kind of like, I'm like, oh man, I feel like an idiot. I can't wait until I actually get Mark on and I actually know how to use this. But this feature, I knew how to use this one.
Nice.
It just highlighted. I was like, oh look, we messed that up.
Yeah. Well, we've been working. I've been focused on writing CodeRush. I want to say for almost 20 years, right? I've been focused on how to make it as fast as possible, and so there are features of CodeRush that are easily discoverable, but there are also features of CodeRush that, in order to achieve that high speed gain, are not as discoverable. And so the awesome thing about what we're doing today is I'm going to hopefully get out, be able to show some of those less discoverable but very powerful features as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on comments and the API members. So members is what I had on before, but I think comments will be good also. And I'm going to skip strings just because I think that there'll be too many false positives on that.
Sure. Okay.
or false negatives, something like that. Either way, I think it's gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
False either way. Yeah.
Whichever one it is. Yeah. Okay.
This feature is super powerful navigational feature. It allows you to hit the tab key when you're inside an identifier and go to the next reference anywhere in your solution. It's super powerful. I strongly recommend it for high-speed navigation. So up to you if you want it or not, but I love this feature so much.
I'll leave it on. It makes sense. Yeah, that's a tab to jump to the next thing of the same symbol.
Right, exactly. It's useful. Like, here's a great time to use it is when you're in. I'm noticing the chat. Somebody said, "Is this C#?"
Yes.
And it looks like you answered that yes. But this CodeRush applies to any programming language you can open up in Visual Studio. Not all the features will work, but we've got a lot of support for C# and VB. If you were asking about CodeRush. Okay, so after tab to next reference, let's go to the next page and in the setup wizard. And this is the debug visualizer. And I also strongly recommend this. I really like this feature a lot. This allows you, when you're debugging, to drill down into complicated expressions, to see forward in time, to see where we're going to go, right? If, for example, maybe I'm on a switch statement, it'll show you which switch statement you're going to go into.
Before you even get to that in the execution.
Right, before you hit F10 to step over or to step into the breakpoint or into the case block, it'll show you which one. And same thing with like an if-else structure as well. It'll show you which one you're going into by de-emphasizing the dead code path, the path you will not go into by dimming that down. What's cool about this is instead of being surprised after you hit F10, you see before you hit F10 where you're going. And if that's a surprise, an unexpected direction, you can do something about it before you've actually jumped and changed variable state, for example. Things like that.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay? So, or maybe just lose your place on screen if it's like a giant, switch block, right?
Yeah, so I will say I'm really looking forward to seeing what this actually looks like debugging something. I think this one's going to be neat.
Yeah, well, let's get through this.
We'll make a point of seeing that.
Debug it, yeah. Smart semicolon, I also love this. It's a small feature each time you use it, but we put semicolons on probably somewhere between 100,000 and 10 million times a year, depending on what your kind of code you're writing and rewriting. So it's a fairly substantial savings over time. And what this does is if your caret is inside parens, you can hit that semicolon to terminate the line, get the caret outside at the end of the line. And if you've already got a semicolon on the line, it doesn't add an extra one. You're just out. So it's a nice, fast way to end and to get out.
Yep, makes sense.
All right, go ahead and click next.
Okay.
One key selection embedding. I kind of like this. And one of the questions I asked you beforehand, I said, do you like variables that are like a single letter long, or do you like to have descriptive variables? And you were like, I definitely like descriptive variables. So if you're not going to use like the letter C or the letter F or the letter T for your variable names, and you're definitely not going to be in a situation where I've selected a whole bunch of code and I want to replace it with just a single letter, which is rare anyway. What you can do is you can get these keystrokes right here to embed selections into these different blocks. Which again is,
so I highlight a block of code, say like that create socket line like it's showing here, and then that looks like it's the try catch block, so I hit the letter C, and it wraps the whole thing in that block.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's one key selection embedding, and you can later go into the options dialog and say, well, I want this key, like maybe you want the W to create a weight cursor around something. Or maybe you want to do something else where you're wrapping code with something at the beginning and something at the end.
Cool.
You can create these for yourself.
So essentially, if I want to surround whatever my selection is with some kind of structure, I can create another key for this. Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
And the engine for creating embeddings is actually very powerful. So you can do all kinds of embeddings. You can do embeddings where you add something to the left and right side of every line, for example, if you wanted to do that. So there's a lot of power in that engine there. All right, let's go to the next page.
Sounds good. Code
And
template. Yeah. Okay.
code template expansion. All right. So I you're totally hearing my bias on all of these pages,
Yep.
right?
Nope. That's
But
yeah.
but if you want, so if you want to use less effort, which is what I'm all about in terms of writing code, right? Writing code more efficiently, then choose the last option, enable templates with the spacebar. But if you are a little more cautious about jumping into the templates, which are like code snippets on steroids to the power of steroids, then you want to use maybe the tab key if you want to be a little more cautious. But I actually wanted to spend time showing you the template engine today, the template language, and getting you into that so you could
Yeah.
see.
That's why I'm gonna pick the spacebar one here and
Okay.
instead of the tab key. So I've had 2 days of the other one, and something popped up on me that said like, oh, Visual Studio's blocking this because it wants to take the tab key or something.
What do you want to do? How do you want to resolve the
Yeah,
conflict?
and
Yeah,
I was like,
sometimes that
ah,
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen. I recommend the space bar. In general, the conflict resolution is such, if you pick the defaults that we suggest, your conflict resolution is going to be, it's going to be fine. You'll be able to use both the tab for what you want to use it for, expanding templates, and other things as well. So I would do
yep.
that. Enable templates with the space bar.
Okay, so these templates are like mega snippets. I get it.
Yes. Yeah. And I want to jump into that right as soon as we're done with that.
Sounds
This
good.
last one is a simple one, but if you use any Visual Studio features to jump to like definition, we can drop a marker for you, and then you can get back by pressing escape, which is kind of nice. So, and if you don't want to use escape, you can choose Alt-N to collect your markers. I choose escape because it's faster for me, and I've been doing it for years, but you might find that sometimes conflicts with dropping down a menu or something like
Yeah,
that.
well, I'm worried that I'm gonna hit escape too often and get pulled back when I didn't mean to.
There you
So I'm
go.
gonna
So
do
do
Alt
that.
End because
Okay.
I hit the escape key too often, and I don't wanna mess myself up.
No
So
worries.
okay,
All right. IntelliRush. So IntelliRush is kind of cool. It gives you the ability to filter by the kind of item, the kind of symbol.
okay, I
So
see that method
you see,
property event on the left there.
right, and you can
Yep.
also filter by hierarchy. So you can say, I want to see everything from control down to form, for example, from 4 down to 0. And you would do that by hitting control plus the number 4 when this is up, and you're essentially slicing the hierarchy and seeing only the items from there. So you got some filtering abilities in there, and you can control the filtering by tapping the control key when IntelliRush is up.
Interesting.
Okay.
Thanks.
So next.
I'm gonna turn that one on just so we can see it.
Okay.
And I might come back through and clear that one out if
And now
I don't like it. So okay, so I've got all
Yeah.
these. It says they're enabled, and I chose spacebar for my template expansion. And then yeah, and see, it says right here I can come back in and do the setup wizard again
At any time.
Yep. Okay. So I'm
And
gonna
it'll
click
remember.
finish, and then now I should be set up. So do we want to start a new project then?
Yeah, let's start a new project.
What kind?
Well, whatever you want to do. You tell me. Something with C#. If you do C#, we can show you the templates, or VB.
All right. We'll call this. I'll put this in the CodeRush project. We don't need a visual, so let's do a console application because it'll run fast and easy.
Okay.
So, learning, CodeRush learning. There we go.
Okay.
Work. Sounds good. Welcome,
cool.
Brats. And I noticed Arid Tag, Async Awake, and a bunch of other people hopped in and said hello. So welcome, everybody. Hopefully you are ready for Bonus Stream Wednesday.
Bonus Stream Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right. So let's write some code. Do you have an idea, by the way? I know I don't want to put you on the spot too much, Brendan, but do you have an idea on what we would do in this program we want to write?
Don't know. We could do FizzBuzz.
What's FizzBuzz? I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't know FizzBuzz? So FizzBuzz is a program where it's I guess I'll explain the basic concept. So this is like it's a simple program that people do. It's often done as like a kata, and it's a little programming exercise. The idea for the exercise is that you have a group of children, and they are all asked by the teacher to count. And so, like, the teacher might point at a student, and the first student says 1, the next student says 2, and then...
We did this last night. I did this last night for the first time in an improv class.
And then, crazy. So the next student, the third student, instead of saying the number 3, is going to say the word fizz. And that's because 3 is a number that is divisible by 3. And so instead of numbers divisible by 3, they're going to say fizz. And in addition to that, instead of numbers divisible by 5, they're going to say buzz. So, nice. For example, 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, fizz, 7, 8, perfect. Fizz, buzz, 11, nice. You know, on and on. And so that's the idea. So we could write a program that does that, and we could even do it over-architected so that it's got classes and such.
Okay. So let's do that. So tell me about, cool. So I've never seen the kata for this. So tell me about give me an example. What do we need first? We need a class. We need some methods here. What are we going to do at the very beginning?
The couple of things that we would probably have, if we were doing this as a kata, we would test drive it, which we could do if you like, or we could skip that just for the sake of just, you know, using the tools. But other than that, it's just however you want to write it. So we might make like a class that's like our fizz buzz generator or something like that. That's going to be what gets us our numbers. So then inside the main method, we basically are just going to call out to our fizz buzz generator, and it's going to say like fizz buzz 10 or something like that, and it's going to return back the first 10 numbers of a fizz buzz sequence or something like that, right? Where it's going to be 1
Got
or
it.
2. Makes sense?
Got it. Will those numbers, okay, so are those numbers coming back as an array or a generic list of ints? Do we have a preference on that?
I think it's going to come back actually as, it could be an array of string, or it could be a list of string. Why don't we have it return back a list of string, because that's the most useful one.
All right. Okay, so let's do this. So let's go down inside our main.
Okay.
Inside our main, get to the end of that line right there where it says hello world, or you can delete it if you want. Hit enter, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the templates. Okay, so we want to create a variable of type generic list of string.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to hit the letter V for variable.
Okay.
And then we're going to type in the letter L for list. And then we're going to type in a dot, which is a separator between the generic list and the type. And we're going to hit the letter S for a string. Okay, so we want a variable that's a list of string. And then you're going to hit spacebar.
Whoa.
And now you're going to type in the name of that list, whatever that is. Okay, so we're going to say results maybe? I don't know. And then you're going to say it's equal to, and then you're going to say your method call as you normally would, and your parameters to it if there were any parameters. I guess there's one. So you can say that's equal to.
Equals. Okay.
And then say like get, you know, the class name that we're going to generate, and then a method inside of it.
And then, so I'm just going to make it a static method for now, so I don't have to create an object for it. So we're going to say fizzbuzzmaker dot get list, and we'll say like 10 or something like that.
Now, wait.
Oh,
go
okay,
back.
sorry.
Go back. No. You're good. Type in everything you had, the list of 10. But now, no. Yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted you to do.
I did it. Yep.
Yeah. So it was, what we're saying is, go ahead, Brendan, you can tell me.
I didn't need to hit the semicolon. I didn't need to go to the right to hit the semicolon button. I could just hit it because I was inside of the parens, and it knew to add it to the end of the line.
Right. Yep. So I'm saving you one keystroke, or maybe hitting the end key, or maybe a couple right arrows. But that feature, getting comfortable with that feature is, I think, big and huge. All right. So now I would go back over to FizzBuzzMaker, and then I would hit that num0 key on your keyboard to bring up the CodeRush menu.
Okay.
And this will also bring up, and then choose to declare class is what you want to do.
Yep.
And in the preview, it showed you it's also built the get list for you as well.
Because it knew that I was already calling that method. That's nice.
Right. Now go inside the get list. Now, by the way, now that we've done that, it's dropped a marker for you back in the calling location. So when you're ready, when you're done here,
I'll
and
hit
you're ready
my
to go
alt
back.
end and it'll take me back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's nice.
So now that we're here, now I want to create a result set that's going to be of type list of string.
Okay.
So to do this, I want to, instead of using letter V for variable, I want a new initialized variable. So I'm going to use the letter N for new.
Okay.
So N, L for list, dot, S for string, and then spacebar.
Yep. Okay, got it. Oh, man. See, that's the one I'm going to type every time.
Right, exactly. It's super powerful. You can now at this point just keep the word list or change it. Now, one other thing I want to show you, you're in that orange block there.
Whoa.
It looks like you figured it out, that you hit enter on that, you get to the end.
And no, but I'm not just in the end. I'm in the parens.
Right. If the constructor has any overloads that accept parameters, you'll get here. And then you can just hit enter again to get out. If you see the orange, orange means the orange box, the orange caret, that means you're in a field, and you can hit enter to get to the end. So it's very fast. But the thing I was going to show you is up there at result list, go back up, put the caret on the word result list, anywhere on it. Okay. I want you to hit just your copy key here, Control C or Control Insert. And what you should see it do is did it select it? Go down to the next line and paste. I can't tell if it's selecting it or not. And if you paste, no, it did not. Okay, so there's a CodeRush feature that we need to turn on that will copy just that identifier, which is useful for other features. We can do that later. We can, but one other thing I want to show you while you're on this line, go back up anywhere on this line. Let's say that you're here and you want to duplicate. You want to create another string list. Just hit Shift Enter to duplicate the line.
Okay.
Did that not work?
Yeah, it did. And the cool part is that I think I have lists selected right now.
Right. So if you wanted it to be of something else, you could do that, make that change. But you can just hit enter now, and then you can now change the name if you want it to be something different, and hit enter, and then get to the end of the line. So you've got smart duplicate line, and we also have smart duplicate selection. You get to both using that the shift enter. Okay. Very cool feature. All right, so now I don't know what we're going to write in here. Now we got to do, what's the next bit of code we're going to write?
So we need to do some kind of a for loop where, and we do want it to be a for loop because we really want the numbers here. And we want to go up to whatever the value is to add items to this list. Although maybe the first thing we should do is return the list, even though it's going to be empty first. Why don't we do the return just so we're compiling? We
can do that. Go ahead and type in R space. R for return and then space.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. There is an option. Okay, there's an option that says when there's a conflict between CodeRush and IntelliSense, which do you want to take? And because IntelliSense was up, and the default is to take and it's in the CodeRush options. So you might want to turn that off. It's in CodeRush the CodeRush options.
Yeah, okay. Options.
Let me find it here.
Oh, IntelliSense, I'm on it.
Let's see. Always expand templates is the first one right up there at the top. That one right there.
Okay.
And I would say okay with that. Try that out, and if you find that you ever want to change that, you can.
Okay.
If you accept IntelliSense results with like enter key, then this will never be a problem. But if you like to accept it with like the space bar, then it might be. So now if you just type in R and space, you won't have to escape to get rid of IntelliSense.
Yep, makes sense.
So there you go. All right. One other thing, by the way. So we've just barely gotten into the templates, right? I think we're giving you a bit of a preview in terms of how we can do this, right?
Yep.
But since we're talking about returning, I want you to try just a couple. Type in RN and hit the space bar. RN. RN for return null. Get down to the next line, type in RT for return true.
Oh. Still hitting that one. I wonder if I have to restart for that.
No, I don't think you do. That's something I want to look at, but let's look at it later when we're not
when we're not live
slowing everybody down. Try RF as well.
Which I assume is return false.
Yeah, exactly.
Which if IntelliSense is out of my way, it works.
Yeah, so there's we need to look at that. There may also be a setting in Visual Studio. This has been a while since I played with this, so I need to research that. But I'll get back to you on and let you know what the answer is.
Any more returns you want to look at, or?
There's also R0, which you can do
which
as
would
well.
Be return 0, I assume.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can do that.
Whoops, that was my bad. R0, and I'm assuming that trick would work with any number. No, just 0.
Not.
Okay.
It works with some of the more popular ones there. We can change that so it does. You can actually change that because they're definable. All right, so this is our first step. Now, do you want to create a test for this?
We can, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's. Are we going to create a separate? Is it going to be in part of this project, or are we going to create a separate project?
It doesn't matter. If there's reason to open another project, I can, but I can also just put it right here.
That's fine. We can do it. Wait. You're doing a test fixture now?
Oh, yeah, I am.
So just type in TF right here. You might hit and try it. Hit spacebar. Nothing? Okay. Add a reference to your test framework.
You know what? I'll make a new project, and then I'll have access to it then. So we'll add the new project, and this one we're gonna make. Does it work with XUnit?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. XUnit test project. Great name.
All right. So now we've got a test fixture here already, built a default one for us, but we should be able to take this, now put the caret on the public keyword. So let's say we want to delete this and replace it with our own real quickly. You can hit that plus key to selection increase and should be able to get the whole thing. And now hit the backspace key or delete key to delete it. Now type in TF for test fixture and spacebar and see if this works.
Nice.
There you go.
And it knows I'm in XUnit too.
Exactly. What's really cool about the CodeRush templates is they are language independent and framework independent as well. So it doesn't matter what test framework you're using, and it doesn't matter what language you're typing in. If you're working in CSharp or VB, for example, the same keys give you essentially the same functional code, regardless of where you are. So it allows you to switch out your test framework if you need to, for example, without slowing you down.
Yeah, because you work the same way without having to remember whether this one's a fact or a test or a test method.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Okay. We want to get that code over from our original place. Now, one of the things that we can do is we could hit Alt Home to get back there if you wanted to copy the code. But we can also, but we want to come right back here too. If you hit, I'm sorry, not Alt Home, I meant Alt N, right? You had that option. But if you hold Alt Shift and Home, you should be able to drop a marker here and go back to the last marker, which looks like that, it looks like that did that for you. And so now you can copy this whole line of code and then hit Alt Shift Home again to get back to where you were. And Alt Shift Home drops a marker. See what we're doing? We were kind of working in two different places at once here very quickly. Okay. So that might help you in terms of where you want to be right here. So now if you want to add these references, you should be able to hit the CodeRush key right on those. And it looks like you're either doing that or you're bringing up, you're hitting another key to bring that up. And then you can add those references as you need them. Okay, now we got the results. What do we want to check? We want to check to see if it's not null, for example. I think at the very least, right? And that the count is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to make sure that.
Wait. Tell me what you want to do first.
I want to make sure that that there's one result and it's 1. So.
Okay, so let's do this. So let's copy FizzBuzz results to the clipboard right up above there, that identifier. And by the way, there are a lot of templates that work with identifiers on the clipboard. So we're essentially a way of telling CodeRush what I want to work with. And now let's type in ANN for assert not null. And hit spacebar. And there we've got an assert not null call for the for XUnit. And now we want to do AE for assert equal. And then
is there an assert not empty?
Yeah, I don't know. Try it.
Oh, not equal. I guess I don't know what empty would be. Yeah.
I'm not sure if there is or not. Let me take a look. I can actually do that. And I can show you how to do. If I find it, I'll show you how to get it as well.
So AE is going to be assert equal, right?
Right. AE is assert equal. And now you put your expected result here, which is the number 1. And then hit enter and come to the right here and change it to .count. Just hit the right arrow key because we're going to keep what's on the clipboard.
Yep.
and hit enter, and then you're at the end of the line. Oh, it looks like it's back on 1 again for some reason.
Oh, because I didn't hit enter, I hit tab.
Oh, I see. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay, and then there's your test case. Now you can.
Well, hang on. I also want to I want to check the result of that one too.
Okay.
So fizzbuzz result, and then say dot single, right? And I need it to give me link. And now I can make sure that this, oh, whoops. I meant that to be in a string, Brendan. There we go. Now what's this one squiggling me about? Gets the number of elements.
Do not use assert equal to check for collection size.
Oh, why not? What should I use instead? Use
I'm not
assert
sure.
Single. There you go. Thank you.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice.
Yeah, well, there we go. And hello, VFRZ. Welcome, everyone. And Pritchett bots, if you want to see the list of commands, type in CMD and it'll tell you the commands so you can see what's in there.
All right, so if you notice next to the word fact up there, next to that,
I've got my little run the test button.
Right, so you can click on that either for the class or for the fact, and you can choose run test. Also, debug test is maybe useful as well. And so it'll start that out. This is the CodeRush test runner. The CodeRush test runner is the fastest test runner for .NET that we know of, and one of the techniques we used for getting that, for claiming that, aside from just really efficient code, is we have the ability to actually test in parallel across multiple assemblies if you allow that and turn that ability on. So fun fact, I guess. And so it looks like the results we're already failing because we don't have one element.
Put anything. Yep. Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good. Let's go make it work.
Oh,
so,
wait. You're at get list. Put the caret on get list right there. Now we've got an implementation of this and maybe 2 calls to this, right? Here's where that tab to next reference feature is super cool. Hit the tab key, and you might get lucky and jump right to the declaration. Otherwise, you'll get to another call.
Nice.
Yeah. And you can also hit Shift Tab here as well. And when you're done, you can hit Enter, and it'll clear that line. If you want to stay here, you can hit Enter, and then you can also hit Escape, or no, I'm sorry, in your case, Alt End, and you'll jump back to where you started.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I can just like click, and it's just like you guys are probably seeing the screen flash a whole bunch, but it's switching between the references. So that's really neat. Okay, cool. So then I'm over in this one. You said I hit Enter to get rid of it? Okay.
Yeah, Enter to get rid of it, or you just move out of it. You move the caret out. Now, when you use tab to next reference, it also drops a marker for you. So there's another marker back when we started this. So if you want to go back to that, you can just hit Alt End to go back to that marker. Okay. And now we can make some code changes here. And what do you want to do here? We want to add a new entry for 1, I guess, in quotes.
Sounds good. Let's just
so here's
number 1.
Yeah, this code you just would write normally. You'd type it in or paste it in, whatever you got there, and .add, open paren, you got to close paren, and then semicolon. Don't forget the semicolon from inside. It'll save you time.
Yep.
Right?
Okay, so I did this. I'll get it the next time because we're gonna have to write this again.
Okay.
So let's go. So now you said I can hit Alt End to go back to the.
Actually, before you do that, yes, you could do that, but there's also if we go into the CodeRush menu and bring up shortcuts, there should be a shortcut for repeating the last test run. In fact, I just put out on the stream chat.
Oh, sorry. Here, permit.
Oh,
Roslyn.
looks like it was deleted. I'm not sure I can send it so easily again. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
Send it to me in Skype, and then I will post it in chat room if other people want to take a look at it.
I will totally do that. All right. So I'm going to paste a link it over to you in Skype. Chat. Here it comes. All right. So this is the CodeRush cheat sheet. And and it is not in the test runner list here. I've just realized that key, but I think it is something that we do ship. Let me just quickly double check it. In the CodeRush shortcuts, And let me hold on a second. I want to get your screen back up because in all of this, I was like,
Okay.
let me close down chat here because it's taking up a lot of space.
So this is the kind of thing that I usually physically print out. I tell people to actually have a printed copy of this at their desk whenever they're learning some new tool, set of keyboard shortcuts, whatever. So like new dev learning Visual Studio, for example, even, I would recommend you print out a cheat sheet of, you know, keyboard shortcuts in Visual Studio because that's the only way you're going to learn them.
Yeah. So there's a binding we actually don't do, but I think will be useful to you. Go into the CodeRush, go into the CodeRush menu and bring up shortcuts.
CodeRush menu, bring up shortcuts right here.
And then down the bottom of the shortcut list, there's a folder called unit testing. And open that up. And then maximize this so we can see the whole thing here. And so you can see these are the different commands and that are for testing.
Test
so they all
class,
start with
yep.
Control T. What I'm looking for is a Control T, and I would say probably maybe a P for repeat. And so let's add one. So we're going to, in the upper left, there's a button to add a new shortcut.
Okay.
And we're going to type in on the upper right, we're going to say first shortcut is Control T. And the second one, Control T.
Control T.
And then down below, we're going to make this a Control R. You'll probably have the Control key still held down. Or not R, I'm sorry, P. We're going to make P to repeat the last one. And then we're going to look under commands and we're going to look for, I think it's, my guess it's going to be unit test, repeat last test or something like that. Let me see what it is on my machine. Oh, what is it? I'm not seeing it there. Let's see.
Run all with
repeat last tests is what it's called. The command is repeat last tests.
Repeat last tests. There it is.
Yes. And so what this will do is whatever your last test run was, whether it was a single test or a bunch of them, it'll repeat it. So now you can be in the method that you're testing and make changes there and repeat the last test just by hitting Control T for test followed by Control P. Okay?
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
So let's do that. So click OK and we'll try that out.
All right. So Control, we said TP.
Right. Oh, no unit test provider that supports the selected project is found. That's interesting. Okay, so I guess
we have to be over. Yeah, we have to be over in this one. But if we're over here, then I'm betting I can do it. No? Okay. Well, let's run it first. Okay, so if we run this one, now can I do it?
Now it works?
Well, let's find out. There it goes. Yeah, now it works. Okay.
Does it work now from program.co or wherever we were? Try it out here one more time. It's just it needs it run once. Is that what it is? It looks like it does.
Yeah, it needs to have been run once. Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
So we've got a pass now. Yep. Feeling good.
Okay.
We can ship. Good. I think we can ship now, right?
Clearly, FizzBuzz works. We're good.
Okay. What's next, Brandon?
I need to make another test that actually forces us to write some real code, like one that does, say, the number 2.
Okay. So we want to create a new test. We're inside our test fixture. Go ahead and get on an empty line. Hit enter here. Hit the letter T for test and a space bar. Space bar.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
And now give it a name.
Return to, well, 1 and 2 given 2.
Like that. Can I show you one other thing that you could, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to complicate, but you could also, let me just say that you could also select everything, the whole method above you using selection increase, and then hit Shift Enter to duplicate that entire method.
So
do you want to try
copy this and then say Shift Enter?
Don't copy it, just select it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Then, and then now you're at a point where you have the ability to modify, right? So you can hit enter once you've made these changes, right? Yep. And then you can just hit enter through all of these, or I think you can hit control enter to clear all of those out if you want to. But that can help you out. All of those.
So like each one of these symbols.
They're linked together. Now we lost the links still are there, but we lost the guiding through it because you went outside and deleted, made some changes. But that sort of thing is
Okay. Yeah.
is, uh,
Yeah,
is
makes sense.
possible.
I'll try it on the next one, and we'll see what it
Okay.
does.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're not expecting a single. Now we expect this to be a collection that has two. So you're saying now that I can say assert equal. This time it's not going to yell at us about this because we're going to say 2.
Right.
We're going to say fizzbuzzresults.count because we're expecting 2 results. And then we expect in this one, the first to be 1. And then I can
now shift enter right here.
This. Yep. And then we're going to say 2.
Enter.
And then, yeah, enter, and then this changes to last. And then,
nice.
Boom. Okay,
and
cool.
then Control TP to run it. Or actually, no, because you want to run everything in here.
Yes.
So it's Control TR will run this one, I think.
I did TC to run the class.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Because why not?
Okay, so we got to fail as we're expecting.
Okay. So now I can jump over to this again. So I want to jump over to where this was defined. Oh, whoops, actually, I just realized I didn't even pass the right number. So
fair.
Let's
Control TP will repeat the last test run.
We'll repeat the test. And then we'll head over there. So whatever I did, and then now let's jump back into this method. We're going to come down here and we're going to say, okay, you know what? Let's actually write our for loop. There isn't a surrounds with for a for loop, is there?
There's not, but you can cut this to the clipboard and then type in FR for loop, and then like the letter I for an iterator that's the letter I, for example, FRI, and then spacebar.
Okay.
And then you can specify what the upper bound is, which is going to be value, hit enter,
yep.
And then you should be inside there. Those I's are all linked up. Those green backgrounds mean if you want to change that variable, you can do that, but those are linked up.
Okay, so now in here, I can paste in what I had before.
Yeah.
And then I can change this value to be i.toString, which I'm actually realizing I need to change the starting point of I. It needs to
By
start
the way,
at 1.
Okay, go ahead.
And that needs to be an equals.
And less than or equal. Okay. By the way, put the caret back in those parens inside the toString. That's where you were.
Yeah.
Inside there. So you're here. You've got the semicolon at the end. You still hit semicolon to get out. So hit that semicolon key.
And it will jump me out. And it won't duplicate semicolon. It knows it's already there. Neat.
Yeah, and it works multiple levels of nesting of parens deep. So it's very, very cool for getting out fast. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I think we're good, right? Is that it? We can run the last test.
So now we can do a test repeat again. And now they're passing. So let's jump back to our tests, which...
I think the alt end is going to get you there. Also, the tab to next reference, if you put the caret on the get list, the tab key can get you there too, right? You're going to get, there's the call from the main program, and now you're in your... Yeah, it's very fast
so we were saying
to get
this time when I do the shift enter, leave all these pieces. So, yeah, see, it wants to do a return.
Well, it's asking you for the name first. So you're on return 1, given, and given right there. So there's some naming there that you want to change there for this.
Return fizz given 3.
Okay. And it looks like we lost we lost those. So we can just hit enter on these down here if you want. But their links are still down here, right? So if you want to rename that, you can do that.
Okay, so this one is going to be, the count is going to be 3. The last
you know what
one
it
is
did?
going to be fizz.
So it saw the last time we did this, we changed, it saw we changed the number 1 to the word given because of what we were, if you look at the difference between the one above and the one below. So we had like return 1 and give, I think that's what it saw us do somewhere in there.
Okay, so it was trying to intelligently figure out, because I noticed it changed. I don't think I changed my 3. It did that for me, didn't it?
It did that. Yeah, exactly. So it's looking for patterns in the code and making those changes. So that's kind of what's happening there when you use that. So that's why we had given down there, because when we were editing before, I think we did that. We had something and we changed it. It was a 1 and we changed it to given 2 or something along those lines, given. So
very neat.
So that's what's happening.
Okay, so here I want to change this. I want to make this an element at, and I want to make it element at 0. And then I want to shift enter this, say that's 2, and this is going to be element at 1. And then I'm going to shift enter this one and say it's fizz, and then this is element at 3. Right?
Okay.
Whoops, at 2.
2. Yeah, it actually suggested 2 for you. Notice it was finding that pattern as you were going down there. It saw that 0, 1, and 2 as you were doing that. Or at least by the time you had a 2 here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right.
So now I should be able to do a test everything in here, and now my repeat is going to be in this one. And there's where the fail is, and this is, I'm assuming if I mouse over that, we expected fizz and our actual was 3. Okay, so now we need to actually make this thing fizz buzz a little bit. So if we jump in here, we need to put some kind of an if. So I'm assuming that there is some kind of if template to use?
There is. If you just type in if in the space bar, it's going to add the parens for you automatically, and that's the template.
Okay, so if's really small.
It is, but it's like, okay, they're there for me, thanks, I'll take it. So, but you could change this if you always wanted to put braces around this.
I do.
Okay,
how do I change that?
Let's go in. Go into CodeRush. Go into Code Templates.
Code templates. There it is. Okay.
Right there. And then you want to make sure your language is C# at the top.
It is.
And notice it's selecting the last template that you expanded. It's already there.
Oh, hey,
so
cool.
If you go into the editor there, go into the editor, add your braces like you want them to be.
And I'm assuming there's a spot. Can I put a second point? Because after I do my cursor, I want to be inside these braces.
Yeah, we can do that. Can we maximize this so we can?
Yeah, so we can actually see in that window. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. So what you want to do is you want to go up near where cursor is, where you see cursor. Put the caret on either side of the special word. Either side, it doesn't matter. But like all the way outside. Yeah. And now I want you to click that orange button above it there. That's got the orange box button. And that's going to insert a field. Okay, so just click there. That means that if I'm here and I hit enter, I'm going to go to the next field. And now go between go to the place where you want the next field to be. And I think you probably want to hit enter here and then tab to get out. And then put a final target, which is the I-beam icon on the right of all of those.
This one.
Yes. And the final target is just the last resting place.
And then this is where it's going to stop me. So like when I'm done with the template, it's going to ditch me here, which is what I want.
Exactly. And click OK.
Okay.
And now type in if in the space bar.
I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to type if, and we're going to hit space. And now I'm going to say if I... So we're going to say mod 3, which means divisible by 3 equals 0. That means that I was divisible by 3. Now when I hit enter, it left my cursor right here. And I got one problem I need to fix on that template that I messed up. That was my bad. So let me go back in here, code templates. And hilariously it opened on my other monitor, so sorry about that, everybody. Let me hit that. There we go. Okay. Fixed.
Oh, it put a tab instead of 4 spaces for the spaces that you want. I got you.
Yep, I put in a tab character. All right, so now we have. Whoops. I meant to do this.
And and you need an else too. So let me show you how to get an else really fast. After you go ahead and fix this.
I'm going to go ahead and fizz. And then. You want me to do an else somehow? Yeah,
just L, the letter L, and a space bar. And one other thing.
I need to fix that template.
Well, wait, one other thing you can do. Well, you can actually do this too. If you go back to where you were at the beginning of that, either hit undo or delete these characters. You can also type in LB for L plus braces. For an else plus braces.
Okay, cool.
So you can do that too. Either way, you can fix a template or do it that way. Good. Let me show you one other thing that's super cool. It falls in the same category of the semicolon. at first, people are like, wait, what? You're actually saving me keystrokes? But go up inside your if expression, put the caret after the 0,
Okay.
right there. And yeah, there you go. Now hit the space bar to get some space. And now type in the word and, A-N-D, and space bar. It's much faster to do this than to try to hit those shift keys.
Shift, even though it's multiple it's one more character, it's easier to type.
Yeah, it's actually easier to type. You also get or here as well, which is arguably way faster than.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
I like it.
All right. So we are now. I think we want to go back to our tests, and we might have a marker there, but we can also reach for the mouse. But you could also have done the tab key on that get list to get out here.
Yep. And I also, have pretty good tab support too. So I run a program that, so I've got an extension that does get that. That is a great question, Sudoku. Can we do a not also?
I don't think so. I don't think I've got a not in there, but you can try it.
That might be weird enough.
You can try it if you want. You can try typing in not up there and see if anything happens.
All right. So how about an else if? You got an else if?
That would be LF, and then spacebar.
LF. Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Nice.
And you can change that one as well.
This one I got to change to have braces then.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this one, well, actually, let's fix it first. We'll get the template first. So we're gonna go in here, code template, because I know how to use this. And I love how it brought up the one that it knows that I tried to use this. And it's already set up for it. So I go here, and then I want to say go to the next field, and then that is my final target.
Yeah, that's it.
I should be able to click OK. So now when I say my elif, I now get in here and I say if I%5 equals 0, and then that's the way I'm going to set up this one.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and jump us a test here.
Can we do one other thing? I want to do this. I want to try duplicate selection on just the if statement with its braces above you. So select, that one right there. Okay. Select that. Just hit selection increase. I think, is that one key? Okay, you're going to have to grab.
One key got me that.
Okay, that's more than I wanted you to take. But just grab the if through the end of the first brace. So that first brace, from there to end on line 20. Now hit Shift Enter on this. And I bet you're going to find a faster way to get, so hit Enter now, because you're on the I, you're okay, and you want to keep that. Change that to a 5. Hit Enter, Enter, and now change Fizz to Buzz. See what I'm saying? And now you just have to add the L.
I just have to add the else, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's another way to get that. That's like some of the real power of this feature.
Trick. And I love how it's like, these are the things that potentially change. This didn't change, just hit enter and move on to the next one.
Right. Now watch, if you were to take that if again and do it again, it would probably suggest I mod 7. It probably would see the pattern, the 3 to the 5, and suggest a 7 next.
Let's find out.
I'm not sure if this will work because we're including the else.
Okay.
Because it's different. But if we had grabbed just from the if to the end and did it, I think it would be like, but now actually, I bet you now this time it's going to say, if we grab the else.
I'm going to try one more, yeah.
Yeah, see if this gets to a 9.
There you go.
There you go. And see, it's seeing that pattern, or it may see the pattern there and it may get it. So it can maybe save you some keystrokes.
If not,
you just replace it.
That's really slick. I like that trick. That's good. Yeah. So there's
also, I was going to say, it's really useful. This feature is also really useful for declaring constants that have a pattern, and it can detect patterns in hexadecimal numbers or binary numbers or decimals, and even in colors. So I could have like some not constants, but variables, read-only variables that were set to colors, and I could put one shade and then another shade right underneath it, and it can see the pattern difference between the two and continue modifying the shades as I go through and use the feature, which is kind of cool. If I want to create like 10 shades of green that go from dark green to light green, for example.
Yeah, so I will say that is a really neat trick. One thing I did want to mention, for anybody that actually does use any kind of dev tools or IDE, it is really important to learn to think in however your tools actually work. so that you get used to using them, because most tools, they benefit you more if you get used to the way they work. So in this case, you have to get used to the fact that you want to hit Shift Enter and set up yourself to fill in these certain fields.
Right.
Okay, so we're
something else. I want to point out too that remember we made that change. We changed I think from a 1 to the word given in it, and so it keeps suggesting that. That is persisted for as long as I think the file is open, or maybe the project. So if you were to close down the solution and reopen it, all that would be gone. So if you're, we kind of got off to the wrong foot on this particular one, I think.
Yes.
And so we're kind of having to come in and fix more than I think we normally would have to. So something to keep in mind. If you're liking the feature and using it, but finding yourself changing more because it's remembering, and you're like, I don't want it to remember those changes, you can just close down and reopen, and you'll get a clean slate again.
Okay, makes sense. We'll do that because these ones are getting confused right now. So you're thinking I might be able to get away with it with just a file reset?
Yeah, that's what I've been told, but I remember trying it and it didn't work. So it was like I think that it's not working yet in the version you have. I think in the version you have, you're going to have to shut down the solution and open it.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. We're going to give this a shot first. And if it doesn't work on this one, we'll do a restart. Okay, so now we're saying that these tests all pass. So there's one case that I think that we don't do yet. Twitchloff, yeah, there are shortcuts for surrounds with kinds of things. Because we set those up at the beginning, we haven't done those yet. But the one case we're not handling yet is the fizz buzz case, which I'm going to put at the beginning of this. So I'm going to make this an else if. I'm going to change that, and so now I'm going to say if tab, and I'm going to say we're going to say I%3 equals 0 and I%5 equals 0.
You need a double equals in that up at the top there.
Yep, missed it on that one. Sorry, everybody. I have a new keyboard also, so I am typing like a crazy person right now. Result list dot add, and we are going to add fizz buzz. And boom, I closed out that semicolon line there without going all the way to the end.
Brendan, let me show you a couple things while you're here if I can. Hit your num plus key to start increasing the selection, and you can see what that does. Do it until the all that if else is all selected. So all that if else blocks. Yep. Okay, so now at this point, hit the / key to comment all that out, and hit it again to uncomment it. Okay. You can hit the letter C if you wanted to put this in a try catch, for example. And then we can undo that as well. And now it's got there you are ready to go. Just hit undo now if you want, so you don't need that. I just want to show you those two quick things here. The other thing I'd like to do is let's debug this. Let's debug this, right? Yeah, you hit the letter B for putting it in a block. Let's set a breakpoint and debug this. We can debug it from the test if you want. That might be a
breakpoint there.
Okay. And then let's go over the test and say, let's debug one of the tests. Or if you want to, you can.
Let's debug 3 because this gets to fizz.
Okay.
So debug test.
And that shortcut sheet that we posted the link to has got the shortcuts for doing this.
So you don't this cheat sheet that I got on the screen for like a second before it jumped off. That one.
That one, yeah.
Okay.
So we are debugging now. Now we should have. Now if you look,
I can see the value 3 popped in.
Yes. So that's the debug visualizer already helping you. There you go. Yeah, perfect. I wanted you to hover over that. That's the enable disable right there. So hit F10 right now, and you should see the result of that new coming over into result list. You can see it says count equals 0 right underneath it.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and hit F10 until we get to that.
True. Yep. Okay.
So hit F10, and now check out what's going on. We have not executed the line of code yet, but we see that it's false. So we see, and it's dimmed down that the path that we're not going into, right?
Yep,
So you
I
can
see that.
immediately see you're going down. So go ahead and hit F10.
We're
And
not
now
going in
it
that
says,
one.
exactly.
We're not going in this one, and it gives me a red X showing me I didn't go down those paths. So I can even see in my history, probably when I get down to the next line even. So when I'm down here after that loop, I can see, oh, I didn't go through those parts. I went through that one.
Right.
Okay.
Now I want to show you one more cool thing. Get down to that first if right there.
Okay.
So just hit F10 until you're there. And now, by the way, you can see that I is 2 now. See up there in the for loop?
Yep,
it says
I see that.
I is. Now do this. Hit Alt plus the down arrow key, and this should open this up for you. So you see that it's false, but it may not be clear why it's false. Now you can use the arrow keys at this point. So use the arrow keys. Hit the left and right arrow key, and you can see which piece is false. The other thing that's happening is notice that one of those falses is green. The expression that is determining program flow will be highlighted in green. Okay. So what we're saying here is due to short circuiting, Boolean short circuiting,
the second one. Yep.
It doesn't matter what this expression on the right is because I'm anding both expressions. It's only that the first one is false, right? If the first one was true and the second one was false, then the second one would be green. Right, saying that that's why we're going.
Yep, that makes total sense. So when we get to 3, that's what's going to be on this one. Is the second one's going to be the false one that forced us down. So when we're on the number 3, so that's really cool. I like that. And also, hi, Memoron. And let's jump to that. So let's move forward then. I want to take a look at when we get this to 3. So now we're going to come through in the third time. And so now on this one,
Alt down.
Alt down. And wait, aren't I on 3? I'm on 3, right?
Yes, you're definitely on 3. Wait. I'm on 3 is equal to 0.
This is true. Yeah.
Wait, go back. This.
I'm gonna drag it back up.
I'm not sure we can, I don't think we can go down. We have to be just before it to be able to drop down. Go in the beginning of line 16, say bring execution there, hit F10 to get down. And can you, this is blowing my mind. Hit the down arrow key as well.
True, okay. Hit the down arrow key?
Yeah. Okay, I'm absolutely stunned by this. I have to take a screenshot.
0 equals 0 is false. Yes, we found something. Hey, debugging!
Well, that is...
well, that's awesome then. So, Mark, I will go ahead and send my bill for being a QA guy on CodeRush to DevExpress.
Yeah. That is super interesting to me. That is super interesting because this thing is prior to this has not been I would have told you that is impossible to do. We're actually making a call to the to Visual Studio to find out what that value is. So it is. I'm like absolutely stunned by this. So we'll. The good news is we've got a full recording of this. So we'll have our devs on this, and I will get you an answer in terms of why that's showing up false. So
weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. There could be a caching issue. If it's our fault, it's a caching issue, and if it's not our fault, it's going to be very interesting to take a look at. It could be a bug with the debugger service.
So that one comes back true, adds in that next result, and comes down here. I really like how it shows me all those, and then that value is false, so we exit the loop, and we return with a value of 3. And now it's gonna debug the whole? Yeah, it debugs the whole way down here too.
Right, exactly.
So even though we didn't have like breakpoints as we do this, click here to evaluate.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So what's going on is it's detecting there's a side effect of some kind that it can't,
because it had an enumerable call.
Yeah, you cannot rule out that something might change if it gets the value. So in that case, you've got that, and I think there's a shortcut key as well for that.
Yeah, so in here, because it knew that this wasn't going to have any side effects, it could run this in advance and not have to worry about it. But there was a method call that it didn't know that could potentially do something. So what
Exactly.
that makes me wonder about is when you get into the idea of having like read-only value types and things like that, where the value really is preserved in, like, say, C-sharp 7.2, for example, and forward. I am wondering whether or not you guys are going to get away with doing execution further on, where like side effects aren't necessarily possible, because like certain, like we might get into a spot where there are enough restrictions, enough things known by the compiler that we know that we can execute that.
Yeah, this is something we've actually been talking about, right? How can we know if there are side effects or not, and how much development effort do we put into answering that question, right? And we've talked about a lot of different strategies for answering that question, however, yes, I totally agree with you. If there's functionality there that's brought in by new language features that allows us to evaluate more, the chances that we're going to exploit that are pretty high, because it's definitely less work than us doing that same kind of thing ourselves.
I'm going to go ahead and do that restart that we were talking about. We're going to see if it fixed this or not.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we're back in here, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and we're going to go ahead and shift enter it and see what it gives me. Return fizz given 7. Ah, see, now it's got it. Now it has figured out that the variance is return and then something, and then given and something. And so that's where the changes are. So we're going to say return, oh, I'm down here? Oh, okay. So I thought I was on the other one. So let's say 15.
Sorry, Brendan, I was moving windows around in my screen, and so I didn't see what you were doing there.
I am
for that last
super confused by my jumping right now. But we're going to keep those the same. We're going to return fizz buzz given 15. So given 15, and I really just want to check the element fizz buzz. Whoop, no, that wasn't the spot to change. 14.
Look at what it did. See, it saw the string buzz together. Yeah, so it was trying to be helpful, but sometimes it doesn't do that. So you'd have to make that change. So
okay, so I'm actually just going to check that one just to simplify a little bit.
Okay.
Because we know for the most part what it does in building things up, so we're going to simplify that test. And now I am going to test everything in this class. And hey, it passes. So I would say that we probably have a working FizzBuzz right now. So
that sounds pretty cool.
So now if we were to do this, how do I do a for each loop? Is it...
So what you want to do for the for each is you want to copy that clipboard, identifier to the clipboard.
Grab that identifier on my clipboard.
Yeah. Let's do this though. I want to make it easier for you to do these. Let's go into the CodeRush options.
Okay.
And go into shortcuts. Shortcuts right there. You can just use shortcuts from right there, and it takes you to that options page. And on the CodeRush shortcuts options page, I want you to let's see here. I think it's going to be in code. Let's open up code. And let's see if there's just expansion, not what I'm looking for. We can also do a search up at the top as well. Do a search for copy. The word copy. Let's see what we get.
No, it doesn't have a copy.
No, I don't want to select. Let's go. I'm sorry about this. I was thinking it would be easier to find. Let me go bring it up on mine. You can go ahead and give me a second to do some research on this to find it, because I'm trying to find out where the copy command is, the single key copy command. I'm also doing a search over through all of them.
Sounds good. I will talk to chat then. Welcome everybody. Hopefully everybody's enjoying this. I noticed a few of you are playing Hangman in there.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure where the feature is right now. So it's going to take a little bit more for me to find this in terms of why. I think I know where it is. Hold on.
Okay.
Try this. Go into the options. Click on Quick Setup up at the upper left, right there.
Okay.
And yeah, Smart Cut and Copy. Check that option right there. Now click OK. All right. And now I want you to go to now in the code, put the caret on FizzBuzz results and just hit the copy key now.
I did.
And now hit paste.
Yep, I have
Perfect.
it. Okay.
Now, if you want to copy the whole line, right, like without selecting it,
Yep.
just get to the beginning of the line. Get it out in white space somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So if I'm
just
here,
hit home.
do I?
No, hit home. You have to be in the.
So if I'm all the way over here, I can get it.
Yeah.
But additionally, I could just click here and get it the old-fashioned way too to grab a whole line.
Yeah. Now you've got that to the clipboard. Now type in FE.
For each. Yep.
Yeah. Space bar.
Nice. And it even took a guess on the name and got pretty good name actually.
And now you see what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. Now go ahead and do what you need. Also notice it got the string type right up there. See that? So it's much faster if you copy that to the clipboard.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna blow your minds with my mad skills here. Check this out. I'm gonna say system.console, and what is it? Is it using static, and then system console right line.
Oh, neat!
Man.
I didn't know you could do this.
FizzBuzz result. Boom. Boom. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. You love that, don't you, guys? I didn't even have to write console. Fixes every demo ever.
Nice.
It is not actually all that useful. It's great for demo apps. So if you do a lot of presentations, things like that, and you do demo apps, it's really nice to not have to write a lot of static method names. So, okay, so that works.
Also, you can can I show you something else? If you undo that, if you undo if you comment out or delete line 2 of there where you're saying using system console,
yep,
and you go down inside your code there, you can type in WL for write line, and you can send it out through debug if you want, or console. So either one. If you type in WL like that, so you can get that.
So this does a debug.
Right.
Cool.
So another way to get that very quickly.
Yep. That was nice.
Okay. All right. So, you know what I want to do is I want to kind of take you more into templates, because we really didn't create a lot of methods or properties or the things that are often like the kind of tedious things that you have to do. We really went in and wrote code, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time just showing you how fast and easy it is to create those things, if that's okay with you.
Sounds
good. So we can maybe create a new class. And let's do this. Let's go up above line 6 in this code here.
Okay. Yep.
And let's create a FizzBuzz consumer maybe. So let's hit the letter C and a space bar to create a new class.
Okay.
And let's call it FizzBuzz consumer.
Okay.
And now let's hit enter. We got the spell checker right there that's showing up, by the way. See what the spell checker's doing for you?
Oh man, that was terrible.
And then you can
I can hit my 0 key, right?
Yeah, and you've got some options there on and the first one is the consumer change. It's down in the blue down below.
Yep.
There you go.
I got it. Yeah, thank you. What
All
would
right,
I do without that?
Now let's create some properties inside it. Let's go outside of this and create a property. Let's create a property of type string called name. So if we want a property of type string, we type in P for property, S for string.
Okay.
Space bar. And now let's type in name. Enter. All right, let's create, and if you don't want backing store like this, you just want an auto-implemented property, use A instead of P. So if we want an auto-implemented property.
So if I could do AS.
Yes.
And then,
last name or model or ID or whatever you want to put in there. Enter gets you out to the end of the line. By the way, try duplicate line right here. And now I want to show you something else. Okay. All right, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay.
Hit duplicate line one more time. Shift enter. Now Look at this. It went from first to suggesting last because it's seeing kind of a toggle possibility here. But I want you to just change last. Hit left arrow key so that you clear the selection. Now hold down Alt, Shift, and right arrow key. So Shift, I'm sorry, Alt plus arrow key. Yep. Yes, Alt and arrow keys grab the word, and if you combine them with the Shift key, it'll select. So now you can replace this with middle, for example, like that.
So for example, in here, I can jump words on that using Alt and arrow key.
And combine with Shift to select. So it's a very cool feature there.
And so, I just want to set that up because you got to remember, guys, Danger is my middle name.
That's awesome. Okay, and now let's create a method that returns a list of strings. Well, actually, let's just create an empty method first. An empty method is just going to be the letter M.
I'm assuming an M?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm brilliant.
And then you change the name here. Let's go ahead and change the name to test proc or my proc or something like that. Just do something. Enter. Now we want a variable of type string. Let's type in VS. No. Variable of type string VS.
Right here?
Yes, VS spacebar.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Got
Type in MSG for message.
Okay.
It's a space bar.
Oh, space bar? No.
You hit, yeah. It looks like you hit enter. That's okay. Hit the space bar now. Okay, now type in VD for a variable of type double.
Okay.
Watch what it does. It's going to add a comma for you.
Oh.
And now type in wait or something like that. W.
Yep.
Fine. That's fine. Now space bar, or you can hit enter, whatever you want to do either way. And now type in VB for variable type Boolean, space bar, right? Notice the comma added again. And now you can say init or whatever you want this variable name to be called. Okay. Now let's say, let's actually do a space again, actually. Let's do a space. I'm not sure. Do you have this latest version? I think this is the feature I'm about to show you in the later, is in this latest version. Let's type in VI for variable of type int.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And now let's just call this P1. P1. Okay. Now let's say we want a bunch of parameters of type int now. Okay. I want you to select P in the P in 1. So I want you to make sure both P and 1 are selected. Now hit your Shift Enter key to duplicate. And you should get, now type in P2 here. Okay, make this a P2. And now Shift Enter again to duplicate again.
Oh, but it still let me do it. Even after I let go of the highlight.
Shift, you don't have to hit anything here other than Shift Enter to keep doing it.
Well, unless I hit the wrong keys.
Yeah, maybe you hit paste or something there, but yeah. Okay. Okay.
How long does this go, out of curiosity? Does this break ever?
We can keep going.
Wow. This code's going to be great, everybody.
Isn't it awesome?
Yes.
Yeah.
The best method ever.
So if you wanted
plus parameters.
So I'm showing you how to use both duplicate line and duplicate selection and templates for creating these. Now, by the way, you can just hit enter, and you should be able to hit enter one more time and you're inside the method. Oh, maybe I'm not, because because we broke it before.
Because I hit enter a long time ago, so I killed that cursor.
But anyway, you were in
half of these.
Okay.
And by half, I mean like 90%. Okay.
All right. So V for variables, right?
Okay,
that works for parameters and works on right here as well. So if I wanted a variable that was a list of strings, we did that before, right?
Yep,
VL
variable list dot string. Yeah.
Yes. If you want a list of ints, it would be VL.I. And if you wanted to initialize, we'd use NL.I.
Except I always work the other way. So I would always, so instead of doing a V, I would always do like a new list.
Yeah, it's more powerful.
String. Yeah,
exactly.
So then I would do this, and then that gets me this one because it starts with the constructor.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want a method that returns a list of strings, it's going to be, you can almost probably figure it out by now, right? Why don't you see if we can figure that out and see if this is
a method that returns a list of strings.
Yeah, what would you guess that would be?
List.string would be my guess.
There you go.
It does.
And you've done it.
Now, here's the question that I have. If I want to make this be a private method, is it a private
No.
method?
No, to change the method, you use Alt up and down inside. This may be a feature that's disabled by default, but go inside and use Alt up and down and see what happens. If it changes the line around, that's the default Visual Studio behavior. Nothing happening, Alt up and down?
Yep, Alt up and down. I'm not getting anything.
Huh. Okay, let me find that feature and I'll tell you how to turn that on. Okay, it's in quick setup in the options, CodeRush options on the quick setup page.
CodeRush options.
And it is called scope cycle.
Scope cycle right there.
Yeah, and that's going to take a free key. That's going to.
So now when I'm in here, I can hold Alt, Enter. Oh, there we go.
And it'll cycle through what's valid and what's visible. Okay. Now, by the way, if you're in a static class, if we were to create, let's create a static class.
Okay.
We'll just type in new. So type in a C and a comma this time. C comma, and then the space bar. And I think this is going to give you a smaller class without a constructor. Okay.
Okay.
Now go before the word class. Get before the word class and type in ST and a space. And it'll give you the static. That may have come from, that's either a template or it may have come from IntelliSense. Now type in M and spacebar. It's going to give you static methods because it knows you're in a static class. I just wanted to show you that.
Yep.
All right.
So it knows where we are and knows that certainly needs to be one or the other.
Right. Now, if you go up back into our other class, right up in here, the one above us, and we type in an uppercase M and a space bar, you can force it to go static. So if you make this uppercase, it's going to say, okay, I'll do static, even though by default I otherwise wouldn't.
Got it. Okay.
So you may want to do that. So properties can return.
So if I were doing like if I want to do a method that returns a list of integers, for example.
Yeah.
Static method returning a list of integers. Yeah.
Let me show you how to work with generics that have two types in them. Okay. So let's go in and we're going to create, I'll let you finish that. Let's create a method that returns a dictionary of integer index strings.
So method that returns a dictionary of
integer index. Now you're going to put a comma here.
Comma strings.
Yes. And now you're done.
Cool.
Right? So that can save you some time when you need to create
these. And the comma makes sense because that's what we were using inside of the angle brackets anyway. So yep. Okay.
Now I want you to go up on FizzBuzz Consumer and right-click that, the class name up at the top there.
Okay. Let me lose my this is there. Right-click on this.
And you choose use type in templates. It's about 5 items down.
Okay.
Yeah. Now type in FBC for FizzBuzz Consumer.
Okay.
And now type in add, click add, I mean. Okay. Now I want you to go to your other class and let's create a new list of FizzBuzz consumers. We've just added FizzBuzz consumers. So
like this.
Yes.
Nice.
And now every template that works with types is now going to know how, and we've now just added like hundreds of templates for you with FBC in them is essentially what's just happened.
Because now anytime I want to use that, so if I want to use that as the value inside of a list or inside of a dictionary, that's what we've got. And the nice part is I have a feeling there are other things. So I did a list, but I'm betting that there's like new array of,
here's how you, no, hold on. If you want to do an array, you just end it. So just type in N and then FBC, and then end it with an open bracket, and then hit spacebar. This should work. That's what you want, something like that, I think, right?
So the problem I've got is that some of my other tools are adding in the closing square brace, I think.
Yeah, we can resolve that. I forget how we do that, but that is a way to do it. Also, by the way, if you type in, you end with the other closing brace. Do it again instead of doing the opening brace. End with the closing brace. So type in NFBC and the closing brace like that, and it'll give you
nicer.
That.
Yeah, that's much nicer.
So it's a different version of that. So. So yeah, you can do that. Now you can also do like stacks and queues and things like that. So if I want a stack of FizzBuzz consumers or a queue, just think of the first letter right in those, right? So S for stack or Q for queue, right? So Q FBC, Q.FBC. Oh, I'm sorry, you need to start it with an N or a V, like it's a new or NQ dot
and then
FBC.
FBC and then tab, and then it gives me a queue of that. Okay, out of curiosity then, if I want to do an IEnumerable, would it be like a new...
I don't remember what IEnumerable is. You can try, well, new IEnumerable we can't initialize, I think, right?
True.
Let's do this.
Yeah. You couldn't do a new, but you could do a variable of it.
Yeah, so we can actually check. Let me show you where all these are kept. Go into the CodeRush and bring up code templates.
Code templates, all right, on it.
And it's actually not in the code templates page, but it's in the page right above it called template name variables. Click on that one.
Okay.
And then change the language at the top to be neutral. Change the language to be neutral.
Okay.
And go into generic types 1 param. And IEnumerable is in there. It's IE.
Yep, IE and IC for iCollection, and I assume iList is in here? No, you don't have iList. You don't like the iList, huh?
Don't have it, but you can. Let's add it right now. Type in IL down at the bottom, and then give the complete path to it.
It is this, but whoops, this, but it is an iList.
And now hit OK.
So now I could do a variable type iList, and it's an iList of string, we'll say.
Okay.
And there we go, iList of string.
Yeah.
So nice.
So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. Now that we have this the other thing that's cool about this too, let's say that we wanted to, typecast this iList into a list of something else. Okay. So we copy var name to the clipboard. Okay. Go down to the next line. Go down the next line. And now let's type in C for cast. Okay. And now we want to cast it to, say, a list. So L for list, dot, I don't know, strings or FBC or something. I don't know, whatever you want to cast it to.
iList of...
What
was our previous one?
I was going to cast the iList into a list of something, but you can do that. That's fine.
So I'm going to cast my iList of integers into an iList of string.
Right, and if var name is on the clipboard, you should go ahead and hit space and see what happens. And check it out. So now it's asking for the variable name when it's, and there you go. So, and then hitting enter on that. It looks like maybe you didn't hit it again. Okay.
I do that. List of string.
Wait. Don't do this. Nope. Get rid of that. Type in NL.
NL.I, right?
Yeah, it should be smart enough to see that there's something on the left and not built it. Yeah. So that, you see what I'm saying? That NL.I gives you different expansions depending on where you are.
Yep. Is there a way, so with the array, if I did the closing bracket, it gave me the collection initializer. Is there a way for things like a list to have it get me into a collection or object initializer by default when I do that? So like I type in NL.string and then I want to hit like a comma or a curly or a bracket or something to tell it, like a something to say I want braces when this is run.
Let's try it. But what I want to do is show me where you want the braces and where you want the caret. Just write the code now.
I want the braces here and I want my caret here.
Okay, like that. So we're not going to have the parens there on the left.
Oh, well that doesn't, I guess the parens, whether they're there or not, it doesn't matter, but I would get rid of them because at least for a lot of things they're not.
Okay. So that's the code we want. So I just want to look at that. Let's go into CodeRush templates and let's see what we can do. We will see what we can do on this. So CodeRush
code templates.
Okay. So we want this to be the default whenever we do this. So the last template we expanded here, it's saying it is n generic one type in question marks dot some other type. So that was the last template that we expanded. That when you see this, by the way, on the left, I know this looks a little crazy, right? Because you were like, wait, I was like, I did L dot something and NL dot S.
Yep,
But
that's generic type dot type. So
right, if you, by the way, if you go up into search right above here and you type in that template the way you type it in code and type in nl.s or nl.i, it will actually find this right for you. Because what it's getting, that generic one type, if you click on template name variables to the left, the page name on the in the left column there, just above this one. Yeah, there you go. Click on that. You're going to, and switch language back to neutral again, because this is to all languages. Click on generic types one parameter up at the top, and look to the right up at the top. Look at variable name. See that? Variable name right there.
Yep.
That's the name of this list. So anything in this list can go in that place for that template name.
Got it. And then when I see generic 2 type, that means that it's any of these ones.
Yes. Click on custom types right above. There you go.
And
look at that.
Our FizzBuzz consumer.
Exactly.
Nice.
Notice we also know what namespace it's in, which means we can add using statements automatically for you if you use this inside your code and it's not using CodeRush Learning or whatever the namespace is needed. Okay. All right, let's go back in the template. So this is what's going on behind the scenes, right? So it's not like we're actually adding more templates. We're just adding more template name variables for you.
Yep.
So this is where we started, right? And now this doesn't look so good. The reason it doesn't look so good is because it doesn't look like the code at all, right? That we saw. But what's cool about this is that instead of copying code all over the place, we're reusing templates. You can make a call to an existing template. And a call to an existing template starts with the colon in front of the template name. So you see these colons here and they're in red. So this is actually 3 templates that we are calling out to. Okay. My contention is that the last one, generic one new prep, is the one we want to go to, because everything else is we're doing some prep work out here, but the last one's probably we're actually writing some code. So no, do this instead. Hold on to the control key and click on that last template. Okay.
Nice.
Get to it. Now, look in the left. Before you do anything here, look on the left. On the left in the column there, actually the middle column, the tree view there, we've got generic one prep selected. And we also have, just above this, I misread this. But if you look at the one just above this, you'll notice it's got an arrow, a triangle to the left. If you click that triangle, you're going to see we can actually have a template have alternate expansions. Those 3 are alternate expansions based on different context. So we can make decisions along the way to see what we're going to do. We're not doing that here, but that's okay. Anyway, here back in the editor on the right, we've got generic set vars, and then we have generic one instance router. Now we're going to start writing some code. So control click on that last template, new generic one instance router. We'll jump to that.
Okay.
And I bet here now we've got alternate expansions. See the 3 there in the left on the left on the bottom. We have 3 different expansions. They all do different things based on context. Now your context is just to the right there underneath the editor. It says context, and you can read it there
down here. Yep. In class instruct.
And not in any comment, not in a method, property, or string, that sort of thing. So depending on where we are, we can have the same template do different things. The one that is, so this one right here executes when we're not on an empty line. And the one below it, go and click the one right below it, and you can read it, it executes when we are on an empty line.
Yep.
And we can
so this is the one that does the new assignment into a variable.
Yeah. This one, no, it's 2 templates. It's got, on the left, it says new local assignment, and on the right, it says new generic one instance. Go up 1, just above 1. I'm sorry, go to the template. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
This one calls that same second template. So both this one and the one underneath it call the same template, called new generic one instance, which is great news because, in fact, the third one does too.
Yep.
All of these are awesome because now we changed that one. We're going to change everything else, which is what we want to do. So it looks like you've already found it.
Happens to be it's the one above it, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's look at that one.
Okay.
And now we have a new type with args. And let's click the one below it. What are we doing down there?
Same
New
thing.
type, no
Oh,
args.
whoa, they're not.
Okay.
No args. Okay.
Okay. So this is a different context here. The first one, let's see. Oh, I know what's going on here. So this first context is asking to see if the type that we are going to create has parameters in any of its constructors.
And the
And if it
slower
does,
one doesn't. So
doesn't.
yeah.
So no args is still going to give you parens, but it's not going to put a marker in there, a stopping point in there. Okay. So let's go up at new type. Let's go up one right here, and let's go into new type with args.
Yep. Okay.
And let's control click into this.
Okay.
My guess is that both of these are going to route in to the same thing here. So here we have got, now we're finally saying new,
Yep.
and we're grabbing the type.
It's the type.
And we're setting up a field with parens.
Yep.
What we want to do is create now it's going to get a little tricky, and I think beyond what I'm going to be able to talk you through here, because we need some context here to check to see if, well, maybe let me ask you this. Do you want to do this? Let's go up to the new type no args, actually, because I'm thinking if it doesn't take any arguments as well. Well, actually, you want to do this for both. So let's do this. Let's do this. We'll cut. The change we would make. And actually, before we do anything, let's right-click on System right above us here. The System folder in the tree view. Right-click on the System folder and choose Export Folder. We're going to make a backup of these in case we want to restore this, and just give it a name and hit Enter on that.
Yeah, it's an XML file.
Okay. So. And then now I want to go back and click on that template so we have it in the template editor. So now we can bring this back in if we have to.
Okay.
And I want to go to the one with that template we were on. And by the way, above the tree list, there's some arrows in the right side, and those are browse back and forth arrows. So if you look above the tree list up there, see the left arrow above the tree list? It's on the right side, top right corner. There. This browses back from the different places we're at. So
can I use forward and back buttons? Nope. Bummer.
I don't think you can. Yeah, it's not. You can see the depth. There's the depth. You hit the bottom. That's where we are. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to get rid of these. We're going to change this now so that by default we're not going to put parameters up here. We're changing the behavior here. So if it's got args or not, we are not going to have a stopping point here.
Okay.
We're kind of making a big change. Okay. So you can get rid of, I think, all of that between the parens. And instead, actually, wait, do this.
Why don't we do this in the other one? Not in the with args, the one without args then.
We can do that, but the problem is that your generic constructors have got args, so you're not going to get the benefit that you want.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
okay?
Right.
And so what we're going to do instead is but let's do this. Instead of deleting it, just change the parens to your brackets for your initialization. Okay?
So like this.
Yes, and you might want to put a space there depending on how you want that to look. Now, the field, if you look at the field parameters, that field command there, it's got nothing, which means it's empty, followed by text that says new instance parameters. That's just a tooltip that'll show up there. You can change that to something else if you want initialization, for example. Okay?
Initializer code here.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not sure that we'll actually see this or not, but the reason why is because it's a totally empty field. But now I think you've done everything you need to do to make the change. And then you need to make the same change in the new type no args.
Yep. So let me hit apply just because I'm one of those old school people that likes to hit that.
It's right up above. It was right on screen, but I think we lost it. It's okay. I see how you're getting to it. That's okay.
New type
you can do
no
that.
args.
Yeah. Control click on that, and you're going to make that same change right there.
So change these into curlies, put a space, and now I need to leave a thing here.
Use the soft caret that's just to your right. So that soft caret is different from a regular caret or the cursor we've seen before. The soft caret means we're going to put something here if there's no hard caret put anywhere else. We'll use this. But if the others, it'll take priority. By the way, you can get to those commands if you choose that select to insert drop-down box up at the top. So if you do want to play with templates, these are text commands
Oh, okay.
that you can put in here, and they do all kinds of powerful things. The other thing that you can do is you can right-click in the editor and choose Insert a text command or a string provider. String providers also are powerful. These just return straight out strings, though. Okay, and you can do things like set system variables with
I
these.
saw like month.
Yeah, you can increment variables. You can do things to make some pretty powerful templates, right?
Cool.
Remember so we can do things like that. Let's click OK and test.
All right. So now, if I go ahead and I try to do a new list of string space, then I can give it a name. This one has curly braces, tab, and then I can just start putting in my strings here.
Yeah. Now, I got an idea.
Okay.
Hold on. I got to think about this. So we see if we can do this. Let's create a template for entering strings. Okay.
Okay.
This is like totally new, but I'm going to create a new template called, we're going to use P for primitive. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go up at the very top left of the tree view, and let's click the yellow folder button. Top of the tree view.
Like right
that
here?
one right there. That button. Yeah, new category. And click on make this a top level folder.
Okay.
And let's call this Brendan's templates.
Okay. Brendan's templates.
Okay. And we're going to use. Okay, good. I love it. Hit OK. And then we're going to click the button next to that yellow folder to create a new template.
All right.
That button right there. Yes. And now we're going to type in PS for primitive string. Okay. And we've already seen that PS creates a property of type string, but we're going to add some context so it only expands if we're not on an empty line.
Okay.
So down in context down there, click the three little ellipsis button to the right of context.
Okay.
And now let's go in and type in empty line or empty or something like that. Type in the word empty, click on empty line, and then click on OK. And now put a not symbol at the beginning of that. Just hit home and then a not symbol.
Okay.
There's our context. Okay. You can add more like I'm not in a string, that sort of thing. Okay. Because maybe you want to type in PS all by itself, in a comment, for example. So we could add that. But for now, this is good enough. And now inside of here, I want you to type in a string, click on the field box, type in a quote symbol, double quote.
Oh, okay. Quote symbol.
Click on the orange box up there to add a field.
Okay.
Another quote symbol.
Oh, killed me. I'll put it back. Field's back.
Okay.
It was highlighted before.
PS this, and then I want you to do a space, and then I want you type in a space here, and hold on, I got to look something up while you do this. I want to because I want to make sure we get this right. Go into go into select to insert and choose the word target. This is different from a final target, this is an inside parens inside of target. I want you to so move to the left.
So like here?
No, to the right of the T, those lowercase t in target. To the right of that, open paren and close paren, and type in PS. And let's put this in hashtags. Put a hashtag here on either side of this. PS hashtag. So hashtag here and a hashtag on the other side. We're going to create a template called PS. Yeah, PS hashtag. And hold on one second. I want to. I'm still doing the research on my side over here because I want to find. template that uses this.
Also, hi everybody. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are enjoying learning about CodeRush here.
So
we are currently in template mode, learning how to mess with templates in CodeRush, which is actually really complex. And by complex, I should say powerful, in that you can do a lot. So they're not like it's not just like a text snippet that you're using here.
Yeah, I am trying to, there's something very cool that we can do with target, although I'm seeing in my examples, I'm not seeing it in the examples I'm searching for right here. So I'm hoping to find the example I want here. All right, let's try it. Hold on. It's in we use this in the enum template. And let me look at that for a second, see how we do that. Okay. And it looks like, oh, I think I need a, I think to the left of target, you're going to need to put the caret to the left of target there on the symbol there with the kind of the opening double brackets. Put the caret to the left of that.
Of the opening double brackets, like here?
Right. Yeah. To the left of that. One more to the left.
Yep.
And then click that, the I-beam cursor that's orange to the right of the buttons above you. And that's going to add a final target right there. And I think now we have to create a PS template is what we have to create. So
different from the one that we're in.
Yeah. Try this. Try right-clicking this and choosing create duplicate.
Okay.
And type in hashtag PS hashtag.
Okay.
Okay, and click OK. And then now in this, put a comma at the beginning.
Icon.
Yeah, put an icon at the very beginning of this. I'm sorry, put a caret at the very beginning of this line and put a comma here before the quote.
Put a caret?
Before the quote. Hit home. Yeah, put the comma here.
Okay.
And space bar. And actually, where that field is, move the caret to the right. Move the caret to the right inside the quotes. And now hit the white background caret button right above you. Click that. Okay, so that's going to put the caret there. And then now go back to PS again. Sorry, and go back to your PS one and do the same thing. Put the caret at the very beginning of that. So this is a test here to see if this works. What I think is going to happen, let's go ahead and hit OK and see what happens.
All right,
let's click OK.
Let me do that. Okay, so now we're thinking.
So now what I'm thinking is delete those strings inside the.
We'll pretend that we just finished expanding that template and we ended up here.
Try typing in PS now and spacebar. Now type in your string, whatever it is, anything, and hit enter. And now.
Nice. Oh, okay. It didn't give me my next one, but.
Okay, hold on though. Then we've got to we need to fix that so it continues. But the other thing I want to do is go back in and let's start. There's another test I want to do with PS before we go back and fix the other one.
Okay.
Go clear those strings out.
Yep, clearing the strings.
Type in PS again. And now type in your string. Oh, we can't do it because we're in a string. Dang. So here's the thing. If you don't want it to continue, you're going to have to get outside the string and then hit a semicolon. The semicolon should end this sequence if you want to. But it can't. I don't think it can do it from inside a string.
Oh, so you're thinking like if we did this and I expand this and I'm typing.
Yeah, semicolon.
I hit a semicolon in there.
It's going to keep it because you're in a string. But if you get outside of that, move right arrow and hit semicolon, it should end the whole sequence is what it should do. We'll test that. Let's go see if we can fix the pound sign, the hashtag PS, and see what's going on with that. Why it's not why it's not continuing, because that should totally work.
Pull this up again. All right, so we're back in here. We're taking a look at this.
So the target, it should be redirecting and adding the comma automatically. We're at the field, we hit enter, we're at the final target. That should work. I don't know why that doesn't work.
Yeah, because it looks like what this is going to do is it's going to add a new target of another one of this same thing and recursively draw itself.
Yeah.
Because
So
that's what it looks like this target is that's in here. Is
yeah,
that I think should redo this, right?
what happens, right, when the target is reached, it goes back and makes another call to the template that's in the parens. So
Uh-huh.
if you hit enter and get there, it's going to keep going. We
Yep.
use this in the enum template. Let me show you the enum. Go ahead and click OK here. I'm going to have
Okay.
to research this and figure out why, get back to you and figure out why that's not
Okay.
working. But let's create a new enum. Get up to a place where an enum makes sense. It can be in the class or it can be outside the class.
Sure.
Just hit the letter E
Okay.
and hit the space bar to expand it and give it a name.
Okay.
And then hit enter and then say whatever the first roll is going to be and hit enter. And now hit the second roll and enter and the third roll. And here, when you're done, when you've entered the last roll, you just hit semicolon and you're out. So you're going to hit enter as long as you keep wanting to have more elements, and then semicolon to get out. And you're not hitting the comma anymore. You just hit the letter E to start it. It's very fast to do. So that's what I was trying to duplicate in this experience for strings. The problem is that semicolon is you're in a string, and there's no way we're going to say, oh, we think you want to stop entering things because you're in a string, right?
Yeah, about the only case where you could come up with that is if you were in the PS template and the thing. Now, what I would wonder is whether or not for that, if we could somehow make it so that P were like, instead of being just PS for whatever the type is, if we could somehow make that a generic one, that would be like the holy grail right there of, we're in a list of whatever. Okay, this does an initialization for whatever. If it's an object, it's going to new object. If it's a literal, like a string or a number, it's going to have you set up to do a string or a number. Because that would be like gold.
It would be sweet, wouldn't it? All right,
yes.
so I think we can do it, but this is like not something that we can probably do quickly.
We will not be able to do that here. Yes.
But I will I'll put some research into that and let you know. You know what we come back with. It may require some tweaking on our end, and it may require it may be achievable just with templates as they are right now. Because one of the things that I'm pretty sure we have already is a default initialization based on types available as a string command or a text command. Mm-hmm. So I think we have a lot of what you need. We just don't have them all in there yet. So I'm going to just make a note to myself here to research the targeting chaining and why we're not coming back and chaining to hashtag PS, because it looked good to me when I looked at that template. It looked like it should be working to me.
Looks like it should be working to me too. I'm not an expert in CodeRush though.
Right, you hit enter on that, right? You hit enter on that last one.
Yeah, because I was doing it from the previous one. That's how I got to PS. That's how I got to the second one.
I was only watching your machine. I was not doing it on my machine, so I have to duplicate that again to get back there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an introduction to CodeRush and what is in there and some of the features that you can use, right, to get there. So this part right here, we'll work on this. We'll work on getting it so that you can, create initialization. So like if it's something that's not a string, for example, but it's something that needs a new, you could have just a whole bunch of news in there if you wanted to do that.
So question. So let's say I ended up with this. So be okay with the fact that I'm typing this out right now. Let's say that I ended up here. How do I get that variable at the beginning? Is there a way?
Yes, there totally is a way. This is actually an awesome feature. Hit the CodeRush key and choose declare local. And notice there's no semicolon here. It added the semicolon at the end, gave you the piece at the beginning. There's an option if you like vars as a keyword instead to use that. The other thing that's awesome about this is if you use it with IntelliSense. So just on the line here, bring up IntelliSense and follow IntelliSense out to get some type somewhere, right? Doesn't matter what that type is. Right.
So get IntelliSense on something like a new list.
Or just start typing in some characters. You don't have, I don't even want these to be like I mean you can do a list, but just
I'm not dropping frames or something, am I? I lost Mark there for a second. Mark, can you still hear me? Hang on, I'm not hearing Mark. I think you guys are still hearing me though, right? Hang on. Hey, Mark, can you still hear me? I ended your screen share. Okay, thanks, AridTag. Glad I'm still alive. You there, Mark? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, we lost Mark. I might call him back here. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's him now. Yep, I'm here. You can hear me?
Again.
All right, I'm going to reconnect. You are back to everybody now. So welcome back, Mark. And I need to do a share screen, and there you go. So.
All right. So yeah, just type in something. Let's get something out there. Let's explore through intelligence. Oh, and actually, let's show you some of the cool things that you have here. Notice you can hit Control for options.
Control. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Let's make this. Just put the letter S there instead of fizz. Let's make it so there's a lot more out there. Now tap the Control key. Let's say we want looking only for interfaces, for example, or only classes. You can hit just that letter, and then you can filter based on that letter. So there's only interfaces. So we could now grab one of those interfaces that was out there, but interfaces are less interesting. I'm actually more interested in classes. So tap Control, and you could get namespaces or classes, either one.
Classes, sure.
Okay, there you go. Find a class in there, and let's hope it's got something static in there that we can kind of drill down into. Let's grab string compare. That's fine if you want to. Okay, hit a dot. See what else we can get in here. Let's get a current culture. Okay, hit enter. Now and you can keep going, but at this point now, whoops.
Well, I was just trying stuff. I wanted to see if enter would work. Okay. All
right. So now hit your num0 key to bring up the CodeRush menu and choose declare local. And now, sometimes you won't see it if there's not a semicolon at the end, and it's not because it doesn't quite see that
it doesn't know what this is.
Yeah. Now you got the declare local and it's available. And notice it figures out the type of it. That current culture is apparently a string compare, which I didn't know. So there it is. So that's a way to do it. So yeah, declare local is super powerful. I use that frequently. So you can use IntelliSense to get the thing you want without having to know what the type is, which is often really useful when you're dealing with obscure types that are a pain in the ass to declare. So
I'm going to search for var. C
what are you looking for?
How to make it prefer var a little bit more than it does.
Okay. So yeah, probably in it feels like maybe this page. Try scrolling down. This feels like a good. Oh wait. Actually, hold on. It's up at the top. It's actually at the top. It's not clear, but it says local declaration style. Use implicit. And
when the type is obvious from the context. Yep, there we go.
So you can do that. So it depends on what the context is. So
which means like in the case of this one, for example, so if I had this code, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on a new line. So if I were here and I said, declare local, then it's going to use var because clearly the type's on the line. Why would I need to say the type twice?
Try it with just string comparer and see what it does. I think it's going to actually tell you what the full type is. That would be my expectation.
So remove this one. And then go ahead and declare local this time. Yeah, because it's not clear what it is.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Or you can just always have it say var whenever, that's legal. So you can do that as well. So that's the option.
Yep. I like var when the type is like somewhere else on the line, and then in a couple of other spots I use it if the type's going to be complicated or weird. So, which I think is what a lot of people probably like, is because we like var, but occasionally I like to know what the type is without having to dig in and put my cursor on it. So, okay.
Right.
Cool.
I want to let me show. I want to try something else. There's a new feature, and I'm not sure if it may not be. I actually think this is not shipping yet. But
Okay.
try going to the left of string comparer. Put the caret. I'm sorry, the one in the middle of the line.
Okay.
The one,
Yep.
right there. You go to the left. Hit a space bar and then left arrow again, so you're just between two spaces.
Yep.
Now type in CS and hit the space bar. And I think you're going to get nothing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on.
No, that's all right. No, I think it's
yeah.
Feature is not shipped yet. So what this is going to do this is in the next update. We do updates every 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how C plus any type shortcut afterwards would give you a casting?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? It gave you that
Yep.
casting, typecast. Here, it'll give you the casting in parens. So CS would give you string in parens right here.
So CS would give me this.
Yes, exactly. One other thing I want to tell you. So you typed in string right here. Go ahead and type in the open paren. Let me show you the faster way to get the string. Okay, so now you want the string. So you got it off of IntelliSense there. It looked like what you got, right? But what if it's not there? What if you want something else that's like, what if you wanted a FizzBuzz consumer here, right? Well, in all the other cases, so FBC, you got that from IntelliSense right there, right? I think that was IntelliSense. But let me show you how to get it without IntelliSense, right? You type in the letter T for type reference, okay? And then S for string, I for int, or whatever the piece is. And the template is going to get it to you. So TS is going to give you type string instead of the time span there. If you want a time span, it would be TTS, like that. So T is the shortcut for just getting a reference to that type. Okay. So if you ever need to do that, you can do that as well.
Makes sense. Yep.
Right.
Any other things that we definitely want to take a look at? Anything any questions from anybody in chat?
I have a couple here. Put the caret on current culture and hit the copy key. So just hit Control left and then Control C.
Yep.
No, not that one. Current culture, the variable to the left.
Yep. All right, got it.
No, the variable over to the left. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Go down to a new line.
Okay.
And now type in SN, set to null, and spacebar. Okay. Go to the next line.
Weird.
Type in ST for set to true. Okay. Type in SF for set to false. Okay. So obviously, if these were bools, this would make sense.
Yes.
Going down to the next line, type in S and a quote symbol and spacebar. S quote spacebar. And now you've got the double quotes right there for you. Right? Now, delete all those lines. Okay? You've got this on the clipboard, right? Now type in if, type in if, go to if, spacebar, and then SN. Like this. Okay? And you get current culture is equal to null. Let's undo that. So, or go ahead, go now, type in here, type in if, and type in NN for not null. Okay? Like that.
Nice.
And now let's type in this, INR. If null, then return. Okay? INR. And so now something on the clipboard, you can now get out fast.
Whoa!
And it sees, by the way, that you're in a method that returns something, so it's going to stop there.
So it gave me a type. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't stop there. And that's the context, right? So the templates expand differently depending on where you are, right? So that's kind of a cool one that for features I'm often doing, right? By the way, look at go up one line and use selection increase to get that expression there.
Okay.
Current culture is equal to null. Increase it.
Yep.
And now hit Shift Enter to duplicate that selection. And now notice what it's doing here.
And I've got a variable that I can change the name of right here, and then I can change the value that we test against, and then I believe I can change this. Yeah. And can I write or? Oh,
spacebar.
Oh,
it would have worked.
Spacebar.
Instead of enter on it, you have to hit enter,
you
could have, and then you could. I'm sorry, you have to hit space to expand, and then you could have hit enter to continue that.
So it would have expanded within the orange block, and then I'd hit enter to continue on to the next thing. Exactly. So if I did this, shift enter, why did it bring that with me this time?
Why did it select the The or is what you're asking,
Yes.
right? I don't know. It looks like it may have thought that that was, oh, I know. I think I know why, because, well, actually, it's one of two things. It's either it's comparing what was there before and saw the changes, or it was because we didn't expand it and then we went back and changed it. That might have happened there. So it may have been the way we edited it.
Okay.
So, but I agree that it looks like it should be improved. So, by the way, yes, there's obviously in that should be improved. So we'll be looking to improve that in future sprints.
Yeah.
So there's something else I wanted to show you, and those were refactorings. There's some pretty cool refactorings that are helpful. And one of them is add parameter. Every once in a while, you get to a point where you've got some calls.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out into unit test 1, and I want to add a parameter to one of our methods.
Okay.
Let's do add a parameter to get list. Yes, exactly. And let's create right above this. Let's create a new. Well, let's go ahead and let's create a new variable. Let's type in ns for new string.
Yep.
And spacebar, and then let's type in msg, for message, and then let's type in hello world or something like that, whatever we want to type in here.
I wonder, can I do this?
Yeah, but then it's going to think you're in.
Oh, yeah, I can't end
it. Yeah. So it's a little tricky. We need to find a way to end that. Now let's go into get list, put the caret after the 15 in get list call down below.
Yep.
And I don't know if you have message in there, but you can it's short enough, you can just type it in. Hit the CodeRush key, the num0 key, and choose add parameter. Okay, and it's there. And now it's message and hit enter. And now it's going to take you through all the other ones. And we're just going to accept string empty in these other ones. So hit enter here in all the other calls. Hit enter everywhere it's taking you. Now you're here, right? So notice no dialog box came up. We very quickly created this and we passed in message here. What's cool about this is sometimes I have code that's structurally nested deep at runtime. I've got lots of calls into methods deep, and I realize, oh, I'm deep down here, and I forgot to add a parameter, and I want to add a parameter, right? And as I say this, I'm immediately thinking, well, Mark, what I really should have been doing was, changing, instead of having parameters in, have one object I would pass in, which is also something that we can do. We can turn this into a parameter object. But in the event that you do want to add a parameter, it's really, really fast to add parameters all the way down, right? So let's say we're in here, by the way. Let's go down, scroll down. We've got that new buzz consumer in there, and we've got parens in there. Let's go in here, put the caret in the parens on this. Oh, wait, no. We're not. No, I was thinking that's not actually something we have control over. Let's create a new FizzBuzz consumer on the line above or below this. So let's type in nfbc. Like that. Okay, hit enter here, and now let's actually, we do want parens in here. We want to pass something in here to parens. So let's add some parens in here, and now hit the CodeRush key and choose add parameter, and now type in MSG. And so this idea is that we can kind of work our way in, drilling in, or get at the bottom. Generally was where I'm at. I'm starting at the lowest level and work my way out, right? And then I can do that. So there you go. I've noticed you're exploring and seeing some of those other refactorings that are out there. So it's a very fast way. This, by the way, is your target picker. So you can move up and down and then hit enter at the point you want to insert that new method. Whatever, I'm not sure what refactoring you chose.
I chose property.
Okay.
So that was kind of neat. I sort of had the it's like, oh, I choose where I wanted to put it.
Oh yeah, this is also very powerful. What you just did is you created you went from a parameter to a property and injected it into the class you're in. So if you were to just manually add another parameter here, like get to the before that, type a space bar. You don't have to do the comma anymore. Remember, you've got the V templates that can help you, right? Hit the space bar, type in VB, for example, right?
Okay, yep, and VB, Visual Basic, got it.
For a Boolean parameter. And then you're going to say whatever this name is, right? Like truthiness or whatever you wanted to call this parameter, right?
Yep.
Let's say we want to now have that be assigned to a property, right? Hit the refactor key right here.
Okay.
Hit the CodeRush key and choose declare property with initializer or field with initializer, either one. Choose where you want to put that.
I want to put it right next to my message, so I'm going to put it there.
And you're done, right? It's so fast. You can do this from any parameter and any method in a class. Okay?
Yep.
Pretty cool stuff. Also, you've got reorder parameters as well. By the way, we added this parameter by hand. We did not use add parameter. So our code is broken. We might want to make this optional. Actually, that won't work because I want to show you. But we've broken code out there because we hand wrote this code. So we either to unbreak that we either need to add it. Yeah, there you go. Now T for true and hit space. Just T for true and hit space. There's a template for true. But you need a comma here. Now we can invoke reorder parameters from client code as well as the declaration. So we can hit there you go. You're already on it. It's down there.
Reorder parameters.
Yeah, the orange icons with the gears.
Oh, I love the animation too.
Yeah. So you're just using left or right arrow. If there were more parameters, you could use the tab key to select among the different parameters and then move those around. So go ahead and use the tab, and you can just see here with 2 parameters that it selects the other one, and you can move. If there were more, you could move different directions. Once you're done, you hit enter, and everything's updated. Again, no dialogues, right? It's the fastest way to refactor your code without dialogues.
I like it.
There's one other thing that's going on. If you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, oh, by the way, if you want to do this, let's do this. Let's add another parameter, and then we'll do reorders so you can see it with 3. So wait, no, don't do this. Use the CodeRush add parameter. Okay, and we can stick a number.
How do we do that one again? I
just put the
add parameter.
Yeah,
and then I say true.
Or put a string or put whatever. Put a number, whatever you want there. Right? Put 1.0. Okay, do that. That's fine
Int,
too.
Name.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Now you can invoke reorder parameters from here. So you can do it from the declaration or the calling site. Doesn't matter which one.
So if I do reorder parameters here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. See, now from the middle, I can choose which way I want to go.
And the tab key can select a different one if you want to work with another one. It's super fast for getting the parameter the right order.
And makes so much sense, too. Like, I can just look at that and I know exactly what's happening, too. So I want to have that there, and I want to start with the ID and then have the message and then the truthiness. Yeah.
Now, let's say you want to take all these and combine them into an object. You can use selection increase here, that num plus key.
Okay.
Or select just the parameters you want to combine and turn them into. You want to turn them into an object. So keep going. Get all of them. Now hit the CodeRush key.
Okay.
And you can say should be. Oh, it looks like we don't have it. It's not ported here yet. I'm sad. It's coming. So there's there'll be a feature that'll be able to turn this into. There's an option to turn this that we're going to port that we'll bring in a future sprint that's going to turn these into an object and update all the calls as well, calling sites. So you just got a big object, an object with these properties in it. It updates all the code, that sort of thing.
Neat. And I assume it makes like a class or something like that, and then I just fill in the name of the class, and it. Okay.
Yes,
neat.
Exactly. That's what that does. That's in CodeRush Classic, not yet ported over to CodeRush. This version of CodeRush set. Also, I want to point out in the bottom right, see the number 3 in the bottom right of your screen?
Number 3 in the bottom right of my screen, down here. Yeah.
Down here, the red. Click on that, and this is the feature advisor. And it's showing you things that you can do to save some time here. So it's seeing maybe code that's been written and suggesting that you can do other things, like method declaration right here, smart duplicate line. So we've used that feature, but we've also maybe copied and pasted. And so it saw that, oh, maybe let me suggest this. You can dismiss all these. You can also disable so you never see these in the future, that sort of thing. So that's the feature advisor. You might be able to pick up some tips from that.
So it's looking at what I've been doing and saying, hey, you could have done this with this thing.
Right.
That's really neat.
Yeah, so that's it. So you've got the unit testing, you've got the debug visualizer, you've got the templates for writing code, you've got selection embedding, the ability to comment out code with the slash key, right? We're really focused at what's the fewest number of keystrokes to get you the code that you need to get, right?
Yep, I like it.
And that's it. So,
Cool.
so I'm going to say, because I think we've been going for what, like an hour and a half, I think, something like that.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we end here.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a let's meet again, we can do that, and we can talk about another level of features. But the thing to remember here, Brendan, right? When
Mhm.
you're using this, right, there's a little bit of training involved because you're used to hitting the end and then the semicolon,
Yep.
right? You're
That's
used to doing it the old way. You're used to selecting code before copying it. But you don't have
yes.
to do that. And so part of the training is, wait, I'm going to do it this other way. I'm going to, instead of typing in the template, typing in the variable name, the parameter name and the comma, if you catch yourself starting, you go back and you redo. And the reason you do is because you're going to be able to write code with fewer keystrokes. And that's going to ultimately, delay the onset of carpal tunnel. It's going to accelerate the onset of shipping the code, that sort of thing. You're going to be able to spend more time thinking about your design and what you want to do, and
Yep.
less time with the specifics of oh, I've got to,
Oh yeah.
I need to try finally. By the way, there's a template for try finally as well, just TF all by itself. So if you know in advance you need to try finally,
Yes,
you
which
can
I
just
think
type
I
that
can
in.
do this also. And it'll do, oh, that does try catch finally. Oh, no, sorry. That's the wrong one. I meant to do F, and it does a try
Yes.
finally.
Yes.
Or if I do a C on it, it does a try catch. And I think T does a full thing? Yeah.
T does the whole thing. Right. So you can do that.
Yeah. So, that's pretty good. Yeah, so speaking of like relearning things, I will say like your mind really gets programmed to whatever tool set you use. So if you're really used to how Visual Studio's, uh, default shortcuts and everything work, you basically have built in your head, this is the way I program. And so it's actually kind of hard to change, which is why I always tell people that you need to like intentionally learn these things. And one of the things I often suggest is pair up with someone or watch someone else who works with whatever tool you want to learn, because it really does help you think that way, because you start seeing, oh, they're doing it that way. I get it. I see what they're doing. And that often does help. And then one of the other things, you sent me that cheat sheet, which I'm probably going to actually print out a physical copy. So back when I worked in a lot of consulting shops, especially when I worked with so I worked with all of our interns all the time. When our interns would start, they would have physical paper, like dead tree stuff with ink on it, that we would actually hand to them and say, like, tape this to your monitor so that you can see it while you're working. And it gives you all the keyboard shortcuts you need for all these things, because you won't learn them if you can't just look and reference it. So yep.
Yeah, there's also, I want to put out a link to the hold on a second. I'm having trouble seeing the top of my Skype window for some reason. There it is. Got it. Okay. I'm going to send you a link, Brendan, in the chat window, which is a link to the CodeRush Feature of the Week playlist. And there are some cool features in there that we haven't gone over. Things that are good for visual programming, like when you're not in a console. Like we have the ability to take, for example, vectors and paste them into XAML and turn them, or paste them into HTML and turn them into SVGs, or turn them into XAML, right? So you can go, you can very quickly bring graphic elements into software if you need to. The color picker, things like that. So we've got some cool features that are out there in the CodeRush Feature of the Week playlist.
Yep.
And so those are there for you as well.
Sounds good. Cool. All right. Well then, Mark, I think I am going to let you go before I do my outro. Everybody say thank you to Mark Miller for showing us CodeRush.
Thank you so much.
All right. I will talk to you later. Bye, Mark.
Bye.
There we go. All right. I am going to close out of Skype here. Okay, so I'm going to do my end of the stream wrap-up stuff. As I said, everybody who's a regular here knows this is a bonus stream. People were like, wait, what? Is Wednesday? We're doing a stream on Wednesday? Which I know is a weird one for most people. We normally don't do streams on Wednesdays, but this was a time that worked well for Mark. So I thought this would be a good one, and I had the time, so why not? So thank you, Mark Miller, for an awesome walkthrough of CodeRush, and hopefully everybody else enjoyed that too. So a couple of things are, I wanted to thank everybody who was here watching, talking in chat and everything, and anybody that followed, and I had alerts turned off so that we wouldn't hear alerts and stuff pop in while we were having that conversation, because, you know, when it's just me, I can quiet down, but I didn't want stuff overlapping Mark on that. And thank you, everybody. I thank you, Langfod, for subscribing, and I apologize if I messed up the name. And thank you, Twitchloff, for the 100 bits of your cheer. And let's see. We got a few auto hosts, and I want to thank people for the auto hosts and the attention, showing up, chatting, our mods and everybody for helping out, keeping the room civil, and everybody who was chatting. So it was pretty awesome. And our next stream will be tomorrow. And one thing I do need to watch out for, I have a handful of people that are all hoping to be guests on the stream like next week. So everybody's schedule's lining up, so they all want to be guests on the same week. I'm going to try to spread people out so that we don't just have, like, you know, guests like 3 days in a row. But yeah, so for anybody that is new here, welcome to DevChatter, where we talk about all kinds of code stuff and spend most of our time in Visual Studio writing code. And normally we are working on a project that is a C# bot written in .NET Core. And it's actually the bot that is in chat with you right now, so you can talk with it in there. So the bot that is actually running in our chat, that we write that as part of this channel. So if you do want to catch that in the future, you can see it's right here. And you are, yeah, so that, yep, we do it here. So, yeah, and awesome, Arid Tag, on the ball there. All the code for everything we do on stream, including the stuff I worked with Mark on, I'm going to put it out on GitHub. And our GitHub is, yeah, so our GitHub is github.com/devchatter. We're going to put all the code that we ever do on this stream out there. There might be an exception to that, but for the most part, you can expect to find all the stuff we do on here does end up there. And we stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays normally. So if you do want to catch us, we stream 4 times a week. We usually stream for 2+ hours. So if there were some reason I had a scheduling conflict or something, I guess we might do a shorter stream, but usually it's about a 2-hour stream. So we go from about 2 p.m. my time to about 4 p.m. my time, which works pretty well for our viewers in the United States as well as those in Europe. The other time zones, I apologize, guys. I know it's weird hours for you, but we do have videos available. You can also catch our old streams if you were not here to see some of our old stuff, how we started the bot or anything like that, because I like to do iterative development. So that means even if I have a structure in mind that I want to get to eventually, that's not how I start when I build it. I start with a simple thing that's going to work today. And then once I get that, so for example, like V1, we did our commands with a switch statement, but then after even one stream later, we started switching to the idea of having a command object. But it's the idea that I didn't start with that, because clearly the first step is, well, let's just get a switch statement in there and make sure that it works. So that's how we like to do things here. We like clean code. That doesn't mean we're always going to write clean code, because again, we're on a stream, so I get, derps while I'm on stream, because stream brain is a thing. You're too busy talking, figure out what you're saying to the audience and reading what people are typing, and the code's not really always what's in your mind, but for the most part, you can get good stuff. And If you do want to see what we've got planned for future streams, you can see them on our GitHub. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up so you guys can take a look. If you go to github.com/devchatter and then go to our stream info project, you can actually find our schedule is on here. And you'll see that today was learning how to use CodeRush with Mark Miller. So it was a little thing. I didn't have any special stuff about it, but that is our linked one for today. So I have not planned out what is going to be on Thursday or Saturday streams, but very likely one of those two is going to be working on our game tracker project again. And that's the project that we started last week. I want to get that one to the point where it is, functional. And then once it's functional, I'm going to bring Guy Royce on, and he is going to be helping us with machine learning so that our game tracking program that will record this stuff. What we're going to do on this is we are going to make it so that so that you can add ratings to your game, so you can say how much you liked it, and we're going to try to make it predict what other games you'd like. So we're probably going to harvest data from Board Game Geek or something like that, so we can do this kind of thing. So that's the plan. We'll see how that one goes. Should be a fun project. And other than that, yeah, I will see you all on Thursday. So have a great rest of your Wednesday. And yeah, take care. Happy coding, everybody.